has officially begun.
The road to $10,000 runs through the Chicagoland Speedway. This is round number 15 of 16 on the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series, powered by iRacing. We're getting ready to go for 167 laps at the Chicagoland Speedway. Tim Terry, Joe Cortez here with you. And Joe, this is the night. Kenny Humpy trying to lock up his first NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series title. He needs 7 points or a 37th place finish to lock up the title.
That is absolutely correct, and you know, at this point, with that low of a deficit, it appears Kenny Humpy is going to be heir apparent to the $10,000 check. And correct me if I'm wrong, Tim, but for the first time in 3 years, the championship could be, for the first time in 2 years, the championship could be decided by the time we get to Homestead Miami Speedway. Kenny Humpy will start tonight's race in 3rd place, which puts him well in that gap, if you will. And again, all he has to do is 37th. And considering he's won, he's always got almost a 500 batting average in the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series so far. It's going to be tough not to pick the favorite to win tonight.
And when you look at these point standings, we're going to pop up on our screen. Ray Alfala currently sits second in the point standings. Had a great run at Darlington Raceway in our last round, and he sits with 463 points. He's a ways behind Kenny Humpy. Humpy's trying to lock up the title tonight, yes. Ray Alfala can also go a long way to solidifying second in the standings. He has a 43-point advantage on PJ Sturgis, who sits in position number 3. Ray Alfala can do a lot this evening as well to lock up that position in the standings. Chris Overland 4th, Brian Blackford 5th, Matt Busa 6th, and Corey Vincent in 7th. There are 12 points between positions number 4 all the way back to Corey Vincent in position number 7. So there's a lot to race for there. 10 points separates Vincent, Justin Bolton, and Jake Sturgis. You've got a lot to race for, Joe, within the top 10, the top 20 to lock yourself into this series for next year. Really tight as well. I do not see Chad Lawton in attendance here this evening, so that is going to tighten up that top 20 bubble a little bit tighter with guys like Brad Mahar, Cody Bias, Danny Hansen, Michael Johnson, T. Loft. They're all going to be going to try to make their way into that top 20 late in the season with 2 races to go.
So you've got the 2 battles going on here as we get ready to go do business at Chicagoland. You have the battle for the cash, if you will. Sure, let's assume Kenny Humpy's gone ahead and locked up the $10,000 prize. You still have 2nd through 5th still battling for cash money at the end of the season. Then you've got 6th through 10th, who are all looking to either get a piece of the cash, or they're looking to at least score some iRacing credit for their participation this season. And then you're absolutely right. Then you get down to that last group, that top 20, especially with Chad Lawton on the bubble, Brad Mahar, Cody Bias right on his heels. There's an opportunity for both those drivers to catapult themselves into the top 20, but they are not safe till the checkered flag comes down at Homestead Miami. What they do here tonight at Chicagoland will have ramifications on what they do or where they are next season.
It was great to see Landon Harrison go to victory lane last week at Darlington. He didn't solidify himself completely into the top 20, but he made a huge step in that. Landon Harrison currently sits 14th in the point standings, and it looks like, Joe, tonight could be the night he could mathematically lock himself into the 2016 NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series. That's great for a driver that's been outside, looking in, trying to make his way through the Pro Series the last couple of seasons, try to keep himself in the big dance throughout the summer of the year. So great to see Landon Harrison go to victory lane last week, and we'll see what he can do once again this week. But Landon Harrison will have his work cut out for him. He starts in position number 31 in this 40-car field here this evening. You mentioned some of these front runners, Joe. Practice still on the racetrack, about 5 minutes left in this session. Who are you seeing that could very well walk away with this? And we got Justin Bolton on the pole.
You do have Justin Bolton on the pole, and then there's Nick Ottinger, the mile-and-a-half specialist at a track that he absolutely loves. This tri-oval, very much shaped like Kentucky. It's a race. It's a track that Nick Ottinger has won at before, and time again. And you know Nick Ottinger's very comfortable on these tracks. He loves the way these tracks feels, and he really knows how to go get a lot of speed around these mile-and-a-half tracks. So Nick Ottinger is someone you want to watch tonight. Ray Alfalla, the two-time champion, also comfortable with these mile-and-a-half tracks. Not necessarily comfortable with this layout per se, but in this tri-oval layout per se. But you know what? He's always a threat to walk away if he is on the track. And then you have some dark horses. Chris Overland starts position number 7. Matt Busa, Kevin King, Tyler Hudson, all the way back in 15th. All guys who have a good shot at walking away with this race. 167 laps around a mile-and-a-half track is plenty of time to do business and plenty of time to slowly work your way up the ladder to walk away with a big finish.
Yeah, I like Busa. You mentioned Matt Busa silently going about his business here this season. 14 starts, 1 top 5 finish, but he is 6th place in the point standings. The one driver that I'm going to watch as well is going to start on the outside pole. It's Nick Ottinger in the 0-5. He's got 2 wins this season. Very solid late in the season compared to what we had a little bit earlier in this 2015 campaign. He has a lot to gain. Currently 350 points. You look ahead of him, Matt Busa, we just mentioned, 40 points ahead of the 05 car, and that's 6th place in the point standings. So Nick Ottinger has a lot to gain to try to get himself into the top 10 and get a little bit of reward out of this season as we work towards the completion of the 2015 NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series season. You want to get involved in all the conversation here this evening, head over to Twitter, hashtag NPAS, NPAS, and get in on the conversation. Let us know who you think is going to win here this evening, and you might even see your tweet here on the bottom of the screen as we get going racing here this evening at the Chicagoland Speedway. 3.5 minutes left to go, and we remind you as well, coming up, Joe, in a couple of weeks, Homestead Miami Speedway will close off this season. 2 different racetracks to really shine to close off the season.
2 very different setups, and this is the way the season has ended the last couple of years, with this very long mile-and-a-half oval, and also you've got but then you go to Homestead Miami, and you've got the perfect oval around there, and you're absolutely right. 2 different tracks that really showcase what these drivers can do and how very just dynamic this sim is. Speaking of dynamic, these last 3 races of the season will also feature the iRacing dynamic track technology. It's a new build they just released last week into the sim and actually has the track change over time. So now as these drivers continue to go about their business on the track, the tires will change, the tires will give out, the track will rubber up, if you will, and that will change how these drivers attack this race. It's a brand new feature that we're just seeing here for the first time, and it couldn't come at 2 more exciting tracks, Tim.
Yeah, and you're going to see that this evening as that track rubbers up. You're going to get to see it as we follow 167 laps of racing action here this evening at the Chicagoland Speedway. You are watching the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series powered by iRacing. Your starting grid for Chicagoland coming up next.
Sorry, guys. I never would have thought making duck calls would have stirred up this much excitement.
No kidding. You got them coming up here.
Shortcut time!
That's what I'm talking about. You sure this is a good idea?
Oh, yeah. I got this. I can't guarantee you how this will end, but Peak can guarantee your radiator for life. Introducing the Peak Run True Guarantee. Check it out at peakguarantee.com.
Welcome back to the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series powered by iRacing. This is round number 15 of 16, the second to last race in this NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series season for the 2015 campaign. Tim Terry and Joe Cortez here with you to call all the action as we get ready to go at it for 167 laps. Thomas Davis quickest in the happy hour session. Ray Alfala, Sasha Wessler, great to see him in the top 5 on the time chart. Tyler Hudson and Kenny Humpy, your top 5 on the practice as we get ready, Joe, to go racing.
We do get ready to go racing, and what a race this is going to be. 167 laps around this mile-and-a-half track at Joliet, Illinois. It's going to be a great day for racing, and this track is really going to test these drivers on so many levels, especially with that new dynamic track that we just discussed him. This is really going to be, I think, a paramount race for the season.
And on the pole position for this evening's racing action, it's going to be the 36 of Justin Bolton in search of his first NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series win. He'll start on the pole position to his outside. Going to be the 05 car of Nick Ottinger. He's got 2 wins this season, going to try to make it a third.
The heir apparent to the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series championship, Kenny Humpy, starts position number 3. On the outside of him, the 2-time champion who wants to play spoiler to that, Ray Alfala, starts 4th.
Corey Vincent going to start in position number 5. Great qualifying effort for him. And to his outside 3rd place in points starts 6th, PJ Sturgis.
Row number 4 will belong to the 47 of Chris Overland. On the outside of him will be the 33 of Brian Blackford.
Matt Busa will roll from position number 9 to his outside, the 66 of Benjamin Burmeister.
In row number 6, the 29 of Kevin King starts position number 11. Taylor Hurst, the 74. He'll start 12th.
Going to be Sasha Wessler rolling off from position number 13 in the 31 car. The silent ninja, Thomas Davis, rolling off from 14th.
Tyler Hudson will be on the inside of row number 8 in that 01 machine. On the outside of him, the 15 of Patrick Crabtree starts 16th.
You got Jake Sturgis rolling off from position number 17 to his outside, the 13 of Brad Mahar.
Rob Ackley and Andrew Fash, the 3rd, will complete row number 10.
21st is Alan Bose to the outside, Trey Eisen.
Nathan Wise, Ryan Lowe, 23rd and 24th, respectively.
Brandon Bowie and Michael J. Johnson, 25th and 26th.
Byron Daly, Tyler Hill will start 27th and 28th.
Shane Doherty, David Rattler complete your top 30.
And just a reminder, we will check in on Byron Daly later in this race. We do have the webcam on him. David Rattler, Landon Harrison, and Casey Tucker, 31st and 32nd, respectively.
Reigning champion Michael Conti and Timu Ivonen, 33rd and 34th.
Tyler Laughlin, Adam Gillen starts 35th and 36th.
Got Alex Warren and Brad Davies, 37th and 38th.
Rounding out the field of 49 will be Brian Day, the 39, and Stephen Gilbert, the 37, in position number 40. 40 drivers getting ready to do business around Chicagoland, Tim, but only one can walk away champion tonight.
Late in this season, Justin Bolton sits 8th place in the point standings. This could be a big night for him if he is to finish in the top 5 or possibly win his first NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series race. He rolls the 36 from the pole position. Pace car is off, and green. Look at the 36. Put the hammer down early and being pushed by Kenny Humpy in the 58 car. 2 and 05 going to go side by side for position number 3. And Joe, watch that 58 and try to get out here and lead a lap and get a little bit closer to that championship early.
But watch it too. He was all over the back bumper of the 05. He almost looked like he had to use the 05 to stop his momentum in order to not make the illegal pass before crossing the start-finish line. So now you have 2 very, very fast little race cars who want to do battle early in this race. Now here comes the duo of Alfala, and he's going to try to get around the 58. No, he will get around the 58 to put him up to position number 2.
Ray Alfala is on a mission, and on a mission early. He passes that 58, and look at him try to gain the speed on the 36 of Justin Bolton. Great run out of corner number 2 for the 2 of Ray Alfala, the Wendell Scott Foundation Ford, looking over the Alliance number 36 of Justin Bolton for the lead. Everybody behind him, they're right about your top 10 single file as the 57 of Sturgis looks to the inside at about position number 5 on Corey Vincent. Meanwhile, Alfala bearing down on the 36.
Alfala bearing down hard on that driver for the team, Justin Bolton. He may not be able to hold him off much longer as here comes Alfala nosing under the 36. The 2 will make the pass. Ray Alfala will be your new leader for the first lead change of the night. The 58 of Kenny Humpy in 3rd. Now the 05 machine is starting to struggle out there.
36 falls back a little bit. 58 of Kenny Humpy maintains position number 3. The 05 of Ottinger just lost 2 positions there to PJ Sturgis and Corey Vincent. So the 05 of Ottinger will fall back a couple spots, and now Overland will look at the 05. That's Brian Blackford behind them as they try to dispatch the Ream Camry back a couple more spots. Kevin King also a part of this battle as well.
Meanwhile, background position number 15, 2x2, they continue to run. Jake Sturgis leads that group, but look around, the 6 machine now, nearly 3 wide as they use the apron to make some passes down there. The 15, the 22 almost get into it going into turn number 1, and Tim, we're seeing a lot of racing on this track very early. How do you think it's going to affect tire wear as we go along?
I think it's going to affect tire wear a lot. 30 to 35 laps. Some of these teams are saying they're going to be crying for tires trying to come down pit road. 74 and 66 nearly had a moment here in that battle within the top 10. Burmeister and Hurst nearly make contact. Ryan Blackford is falling back. Kevin King made the move on Blackford the last lap to put him back to position number 9. And Taylor Hurst continues to look on Benjamin Burmeister for that 10th place spot. There goes Kevin King to the inside of Nick Ottinger. King is on the move and on the move early. He's going to move up one more spot to 7th.
Meanwhile, Kenny Humphrey, the heir apparent, will go drop all the way back to position number 5. But Tim, it doesn't look like he's really in a hurry right now. You saw him trying to make the pass early, but he's not going to do it. He's just going to let him sit back. He's going to let him hang out in front of him and see what happens. I think he's trying to play a little strategy game as the 05 of Nick Ottinger continues to have troubles. Now Brian Blackford, the 33 machine, will get under the 05, and now the 66 wants a piece of the pie as well. Uncharacteristic for Nick Ottinger early in this race.
Yeah, he started second, and he may very well be outside the top 10 before this lap is over. Benjamin Burmeister to the inside. Ottinger slams the door off corner number 4 to maintain position number 9. Burmeister in 10th, and then Taylor Hurst looking at position number 11. Just behind them, I believe that might be Matt Busa going backwards. The 41 of Jake Sturgis. You mentioned him a little bit earlier, Joe. He's on the move once again, and Brad Mahar taking a little peek on the inside in the fast tracks. Number 13, he'll pick up a spot in the 21 of Alan Bowes, also on the move. So it looks like Busa, who started in 9th, is on his way backwards too.
Lots of drivers started hot early are going to start sliding backwards as now Nick Ottinger officially drops out of the top 10. You know, earlier his team tweeted on Twitter, real grip is hard to find. This could be like Darlington all over again. So it sounds like the 05 team was not confident coming into this race, and that lack of confidence is starting to show here on the track.
PJ Sturgis has his hands completely full with Corey Vincent. That's a battle for 3rd. Look at Vincent make that move off corner number 4. Down towards the apron. Going to try to pick up position number 3 here, and he will do so. Sturgis will fall back to position number 4. Well-timed move for the 10 to pick up that spot.
3 wide now around that 05 machine. And it looks like he's going to be around Alan Bowes and, Thomas Davis and Jake Sturgis. 3 wide there for just a moment as Jake Sturgis finds a way to thread the needle. Now the 05 and 83 continue to battle side by side, but that's not really much of a battle as the 05 continues to hang high. Thomas Davis should get the position this time around. Brad Mahar on his tail. Alan Bowes in that group as well, looking to pick up position.
Ottinger continues to fall backwards here early in this one. We are only on lap number 11, and as we mentioned, he started in 2nd, and this is a battle for position number 13 as Thomas Davis tries to take the spot away from Ottinger. Here comes the 21 to the inside of the 13 of Brad Mahar. Nice little 4-car battle there for what would be positions 12 on back. This time by across the track. Looks like Ottinger may take that spot away from Thomas Davis. Fantastic battle back there for P12.
So as we go through your top 10 now, not a whole lot has changed. The top 10 has pretty much stayed much as the same, except for a little bit of shuffling around. Notable guys in the top 10. Kevin King has moved his way up from 11th now to position number 7. Taylor Hurst has moved up from 12th to 9th. And then Jake Sturgis, who started 17th, he's already picked up 6 positions. He's going to be in position number 11 right now as he continues to work his way around the track. Alan Bowes, another hard charger. Also, another hard charger, as he's already moved up 7 spots, and I don't think he's done moving up just yet.
Yeah, Bose to the inside of Thomas Davis. That is the battle just behind Nick Ottinger. Her positions 13 and 14. The 21 car of Bose goes to the inside, and he'll bring Brad Mahar along with him, or at least attempt to bring Brad Mahar along with him. The 13 to the inside of the 83 as you look back to the 21 of Alan Bose for that position. That is 14th and 15th. Check that now as they battle. Tyler Hudson trying to get a piece of that battle as well. The former champion, the 01 car, trying to work up here to that battle.
So top five really have not changed from at this juncture. Ray Alfala continues to lead, scoring lap number 14. Justin Bolton in second, Corey Benson third, Sturgis fourth, and Kenny Humphrey rounding out your top five. Chris Overland sits in sixth, Kevin King seventh, Blackford eighth, Taylor Hurst ninth, and Benjamin Burmeister rounding out your top 10. I haven't heard anything on Twitter from the team, Tim, but I know they're probably playing this race very, very close to their best because they know what's at stake for Kenny Humphrey.
Yeah, Kenny Humpy in car number 58. All he needs to do is finish in the top 37 and currently sits in position at number 5. Talked to the team a little bit earlier, Joe, and I asked about strategy, pit strategy here. They can go about 35 laps or so, give or take a few, as Tyler Hudson takes a move on the 13. Brad Mahar around position 15. They said they can stretch the fuel, Joe, if they absolutely need to about 55 laps. But they said tires will be at a premium here this evening. So we are about halfway or just shy of halfway through what would be a tire run, or ideally when those guys would want to come down pit road.
So you're absolutely right. Tires are going to be about a premium, and right now we're about halfway through that prime period for tires. Earlier you said, Tim, that about 30 laps in, these guys are going to be hurting for those tires. Well, they're scoring lap number 17 right now, which means they've got about another 10, maybe 11 laps on these where they can be very comfortable before these tires start to wear out. Now, if you're up front, if you're leading this race, if you're in that top 10 group, you're probably not terribly worried right now because you're on cruise control at this juncture. But let's say you're Nick Ottinger, who's about to drop another position to Thomas Davies. Let's say you're in that group that's going too wide. You got a car getting loose now. Patrick Crabtree is going to nose it towards the grass. He will save it. No caution flag out. But if you're Crabtree at this point, how concerned are you that tires have now become an issue on the track?
Oh, they're definitely going to be an issue, and you're going to hope for a caution flag because not only are you worrying about tires, you're worrying about track position. And right now, you have absolutely none of it. That's Casey Tucker, his outside, and that is position 36 on the racetrack right now from 15 of Patrick Crabtree. Crabtree trying to reset and try to gain some more spots. T-Loff is there on the outside in the 51, the 4 of Brian Day on the inside. Looks like Crabtree's found a place to race right now, Joe, but it's not inside the top 20 where he was running a little bit earlier. Back up front, 0.3 of a second between your top 2, and it looks like your top 5 within 1 1/4 second or so. Everybody finding a spot and content to race right now within the top 5.
A notable difference from last week that I'm starting to see as opposed to this week. Last week when we ran this race, that dynamic tire model, that dynamic track model was just released. It was brand new, and these drivers did not know how to react with each other in that new setup. Now, this week, 1 week has passed. They've had plenty of time to practice on this dynamic track model, and you see a world of difference among these drivers. A lot of these drivers look a lot more confident out there. They look like they're enjoying themselves, but they're also being cautious. This is really starting to show up like a real Sprint Cup race, Tim.
2 and 3 wide back here for positions around the 41 and the 38 car. That's Ryan Lowe and Jake Sturgis. Sturgis about where he started this race. Ryan Lowe has picked up a few spots. The 5 of Michael Conti is also back here. The 13 of Brad Mahar is also in this battle. Brad was a little bit closer towards the front of the field a few laps ago, but now he has fallen back to this battle, and it's a nice 5-car battle led now by the 38 of Ryan Lowe in 16.
So cars scattered all over this track in a good way as they start to kind of get a feel for what they've got underneath them and what they're driving and how they want to drive the rest of this race tonight here at Chicagoland Speedway. Only 22 laps in as you watch a battle between the 41 and the 31 right now. That'll be for position number 19, Sasha Wessler, a name we have not heard all season, as we'll pass Jake Sturgis, and now Kenny Humphrey will move up as well.
Yeah, Humpy's going to move past PJ Sturgis to take position number 3. So both Sturgis brothers on the move one way or the other, Joe, here. Humpy up to 3rd, PJ back to 4th, and Corey Vincent has found his way back to position number 5 and actually falling into the clutches right now of a battle between Chris Overland. Kevin King is back here, Brian Blackford and Taylor Hurst, which is positions number 6 through 9 right now, and they're running in a freight train waiting for something to happen in front of them. Justin Bolton has turned the wick up the last couple of laps. It's now 0.2 of a second between Ray Alfala back to the 36 of Justin Bolton, and then there's a little bit of a gap back to Kenny Humpy.
You know, and tonight the racing, the temperature and weather is just ideal for tonight's race. Partially cloudy, 77 degrees, winds out of the southwest at 12, low humidity. These guys can just keep the hammer down and just have fun out there as we continue to watch these guys battle around the track. Top 5 starting to spread out just a little bit, and you can tell they're getting real comfortable with this car. They're getting real comfortable with how it's running on the track, as now you get a couple of bunches starting to form. Let's go back to bound position number 16. Last season champion Michael Conti running in a little train of his own. Ryan Lowe, Brad Mahar, Sasha Wessler all looking for position out there. And in one, Mike Enton might be the 31 who picks up position.
13 going to fight back on the inside line. The 38 of Ryan Lowe is there. Oh, 13 gets sideways. He might have clipped the apron in the middle of 3 and 4. He walked it up the racetrack, and a great save by he and Sasha Wessler to keep it off each other and keep this thing under the green flag. But Brad Mahar struggling a little bit here in the middle portion of this run. Joe, he was on the move to the front early, but now he is falling backwards.
He is falling like a rock in a frozen pond. That is not a place he wants to be. Meanwhile, Kevin King starting to find a lot more strength in that 29 machine. He is going to get around the 10 of Corey Vincent this time by, but Corey Vincent isn't going to give it up without a fight. Nonetheless, Corey Vincent will drop down to position number 6 for Kevin King in that new position. Now Taylor Hurst wants to come along for the ride as well.
Taylor Hurst going to take a little look now on Kevin King in the number 29 as King goes up the racetrack. The 74 of Hurst took a look down low. It'll be Corey Vincent falling back a couple spots. Brian Blackford a part of this train, and now as they go into corner number 3, it looks like it's stabilized for the time being, and Kevin King will pick up position number 6. Up in front, though, Kenny Humpy is on the move once again. He has passed his teammate, Justin Bolton. Bolton is falling back here, Joe. We're getting close to that lap 30 to 35 window where these guys are really going to start screaming for tires, and Kenny Humpy on lap 28 has moved past the 36 of Justin Bolton. Now he sets his sights on Ray Alfala.
Well, this is going to make for some very interesting racing, as again we talked about with that dynamic track model. These guys are going to have to deal with. The track has already been moderately high use. It's going to continue to have that, so the grooves are already set. The track's going to continue to rubber up from here, which could help or hinder those guys on older tires. And the good news for these guys, though, is the marbles will be cleaned automatically. So if they do get up high, if they try to run that high line later in this race, they might just maybe be able to find a little bit of grip there.
Got a nice little battle here back outside the top 20. The 93 of Byron Daly, the 11 of Brad Davies nearly has a moment in front of the 77 of Andrew Fayash III. And I believe back there that might be the 91 of Shane Doherty and the 41 of Sturgis. Sturgis continues to fall back here. He's backpedaled a couple of more spots. Landon Harrison, last week's winner, the 89, is coming towards the front of the field. That's the Flam number 89. He's moved up 5 spots in position number 27 and continues to march forward. But these guys are at the point, Joe, where they've used a lot of their stuff up inside these virtual race cars. They're hoping for a caution flag to come down and get some new sneakers on those race cars.
Byron Daly will get passed by the 11 of Brad Davies, and I believe we've got the webcam on Byron Daly, and you can see just how hard he's going to start working now to keep control of that machine. I'm told we don't have that right now. We'll try to have it later for you in this race, because Tim, I would love to see it. You know, after one of these 30-lap runs, I'd love to see just how hard he's going to work in that car to try to keep it under control as the tires start to go away.
Yeah, the tires are gone away for a lot of these drivers back here in this pack. The 89 of Landon Harrison back behind them. The 34 of Matt Busa and Joe. Matt Busa started in 9th. That is a pass to put Matt Busa back, I believe, in 29th place as he tries to look over the 28 of Casey Tucker. Tucker is coming to the front, and that is now 28th for Matt Busa. So Busa falling back after starting in 9th.
First driver to break the seal tonight will be the 8 of Adam Gilliland. He came down pit road early, right exactly when we said those tires were going to be at a premium. Right at the start of lap 29, lap 30, he came down, got 4 new tires, full tank of fuel. He is back on the racing surface, and I don't believe he's lost a lap just yet. Now check that, he has lost 1 lap, but the good news for him, he's the only one with brand new tires. Strategy comes into play early for the Aftermath Motorsports team.
And I'm sure if this thing has a green flag look to it, which it does right now, we're going to see a lot of differing strategies here, Joe. As these guys starting to slip slide around this racetrack, Alfala continues to lead half second over Humpy. Top 5 have stabilized a little bit. Get back around there. Car number 10, Corey Vincent. He's slip sliding back. It looks like the 01 of Tyler Hudson will make the move for position number 11. Some of these drivers are screaming, hoping for a caution flag here.
Let's take a look at that webcam of Byron Daly I was talking about just a little bit ago. You see that now on your screen, and let's watch it as he goes into turns 3 and 4 here. Now, given he might have a little bit of right side damage on that car, and you see just how hard he's got to work that wheel to get into turns 3 and 4 now that those tires are starting to go away. Working that wheel expertly as he's able to get around the track, he might be able to use that to his advantage later in the race. I believe we've got a couple of the cars coming down pit road.
One of them is the 10 of Corey Vincent coming down into pit road. I believe Sasha Wessler might also be down on pit road this lap by. This is lap number 35 for them, so it's right around that window where some of these drivers said that's where the top is going to come off and we're going to come down pit road. Looking at that, it could very well be a 4-stop race for some of those drivers. Joe, if this thing was to stay green, these guys extended a little bit, they could very well make it a 3-stop race, as some of these drivers getting a little bit racy here as they know pit stops are coming.
Pit stops are coming, and you don't want to be the one left out. More importantly, I don't think you want to be the one down on pit road when that yellow flag comes out, because that could mess up your entire strategy, as it were. Kenny Humpy was right on the roof of him as you see him trying to chase down that 2 of Ray Alfala. Last time around, 3/10 of a second between him and Ray Alfala up front. I don't know that Kenny Humpy is in a huge hurry to try to get around him, because he's in the safety zone right now. If the race would end right this moment, he'd have a $10,000 check in his hand.
Okay, so let's put the shoe on the other foot here. If you're the 2 car of Ray Alfala, as they come by this time by, Ray Alfala and Kenny Humpy will stay out. If you're Alfala and you know you're the only driver, albeit it's a long shot to win this championship, you stay out until Kenny Humpy behind you comes down on the pit road so he does not lead a lap?
You have to take every chance you get at this juncture. You do whatever you can to try to put that 36th position gap between you and the heir apparent of the season. So, if I am that driver, if I am the number 2 of Alfala, I would absolutely do that. I would absolutely do whatever I could to try to bury him in order to keep my chances alive.
So we'll see how this plays out. These guys are working lap number 39 for your top 2 positions. Justin Bolton has fallen to about a second behind his teammate Kenny Humpy in position number 3. PJ Sturgis 4th, and Chris Oberlin in position at number 5, and chasing down his teammate with Taylor Hurst not too far behind that little battle. And just behind them, it looks like Kevin King, Brian Blackford, and Alan Bowes are going at it. The 21 of Alan Bowes to the inside of Brian Blackford as they go down into corners number 3 and 4.
Let's take a look now at the 8 of Adam Gilliland, though, real quick, because you see just how much those brand new tires are affecting him. He just cut through traffic. Granted, that was not for position, but he just cut through a whole bunch of traffic right there on those brand new tires underneath him. Using the NPAS hashtag, Aftermath Motorsports tweets out, Adam Gilliland loves his brand new Goodyear Racing Eagles, and you can see just how much of a difference tires are going to make tonight.
So we'll see where that slots Adam Gilliland once this round of green flag pit stops has come to an end. I mentioned a little bit earlier, Joe, 55 laps or so is when the team strategist Jared Crawford said these guys would probably be down for fuel. So realistically, these guys could go another 15 or so laps before they do decide to throw the hand out, and Ray Alfala may very well be coming down this time by. Watch the 2 car as he will come down and see if Kenny Humpy stays out and does lead a valuable lap. Look at the 58 go way up high. He's staying out this time. Alfala comes down on the pit road, and Kenny Humpy will come by here and will lead a lap.
So Kenny Humpy gets one point closer to the championship as Ray Alfalla leads a handful of drivers down pit road. Going down pit road as well will be the 22 machine. He's already down on pit road. It'll be the 36 of Justin Bolton, Rob Ackley, the 74 Taylor Hurst, Kevin King, the 29, the 33 of Blackport, the 83 machine, all coming down to the attention of their crews looking for those valuable tires.
And here comes Kenny Humpy at the other end of pit road, down to the attention of his crew. He'll get it down to the commitment line and get it down to pit speed of 50 miles an hour, and he'll come down to the attention of his crew in the Peak Antifreeze, the team number 58, Byron Daly, pulling out of pit road on his inside as they try to navigate this pit road down at Chicagoland Speedway. PJ Sturgis will maintain your lead as Humpy is down in his box.
Ray Alfalla, the first one of that group off pit road, and currently he's still scored on the lead lap, albeit position number 13. I don't expect him to stay there very long. It's just a matter of how it's going to shake out when everything gets settled and done with. Kenny Humpy now off pit road. Two just unlaps himself. Tyler Hudson now coming off pit road. There's Brad Bahar coming off pit road. All of them getting the same exact order. Tires, fuel, gone.
Alan Bowes is scored as your leader in car number 21. He runs down the back straightaway into corner number 3. Anticipate Bowes to be down on pit road momentarily as they will work the completion of 44 this time by. And yes, Alan Bowes will stay out on the racetrack. Behind him, that is Justin Bolton, and I believe Bolton is going to try to unlap himself here in the 36 car.
That is correct, and he does so successfully as Bowes continues to stay out. Nick Ottinger behind him. He's currently scored one lap down. He's going to try to unlap himself if he can get around the 21. The 21 could be freight train, and that could hurt him because if he can't get low, if he can't get into pit road, he's going to have to go around one more time, and on old tires, that could cost him a lot of position.
You just mentioned it, Joe. He had to stay out there because there was no way for him to get to the inside line. The one thing that I am seeing, though, Ray Alfalla comes out as one of the first drivers off pit road. Corey Vincent may also be ahead of Ray Alfalla at this time, but they've got about 5 seconds or so on Kenny Humpy. You talk about playing it safe. Kenny Humpy lost a lot of time on pit road. Bowes is still your leader. He goes down into corner number 3. He'll have the 54 of Bowie pass in. Here comes Adam Gilliland, David Rattler, I believe that is, behind them as well, and Bowes is going to have to stay out one more lap.
I think that one had to be by choices. Now you can see the 57 machine. That's PJ Sturgis leapfrog. The 8 and the 09 machine now going to get on the bumper of the 21 machine. That could end terribly. It might. The 21 sideways. Able to save it, but he's got a lot of traffic behind him that are going to try to navigate that rolling chicane. The 33, 15, 29, 8 all get around him. Good news, no yellow flag. Bad news, Bowes might try to stay out another lap.
Yeah, he's going to have to stay out this time by. He's not the only one on this strategy, Joe. Matt Busa, Andrew Fash, Tyler Hill, Trey Eidson, and Alex Warren have also stayed out on the racetrack. But what I don't get is Alan Bowes was within the top 10 and almost in the top 5 when these green flag pit stops began. He's losing a ton of time here. The only thing that I can think of, Joe, is he's trying to extend the fuel and try to make this on one less stop. But is it really going to matter with the tires meaning so much here?
You know, that is a very, very good question as Alan Bowes elects to stay out one more time. Alan Bowes doesn't have a whole lot to lose at this juncture. Even though he has 1 win, 2 top 5s, 3 top 10s of the season, he's sitting 34th in points. So if you're that team right now, you're throwing the Hail Mary. You're doing whatever you can to try to get yourself back in the top 20. And if that's rolling the dice on strategy,
the yellow flag is out.
As the first caution flag comes out for the night.
15 of Patrick Crabtree involved in this one. We got one down in the grass smoking. That is Kevin King in the 29. He was well within the top 10 as the caution flag will fly, and it'll save Alan Bowes, and that could be big for the 21 car as the 15 and 29 were the two, Joe, to come together to bring that one out.
So it all starts with around the 15, the 29, the 01, 3 wide going into the turn, and just not enough real estate for everybody to get through. The 29 may have clipped the 15 unintentionally. That sends the 15 and 29 careening into the wall, and nowhere to go for Kevin King. He T-bones that 15 machine, Patrick Crabtree, and that could be his night.
Yeah, that was racing for position, Joe, and not sure. The 15 really didn't have a whole lot of room up high. Kevin King really didn't have a whole lot of room down low with Tyler Hudson. Those two come together, and here comes Alan Bowes down onto pit road in car number 21, lap number 50, or completion of, will be the first stop for Alan Bowes. And Joe, I was looking at the calculations here. If this thing stayed green, and if he could have done this race on 57 lap stints, he could have made this on a two-stop race, or close to a two-stop race. But now this is going to change his strategy a little bit, and we'll see who else decides to come down pit road and where this puts Alan Bowes in the lineup.
That is going to be a very interesting question, as Alan Bowes, first one down pit road. He will get 2 tires and a full tank of fuel, be the first one down and away. Now joining him on pit road will be the 9 of Tyler Hill, Matt Busa down there as well, and a handful of other drivers all coming to the attention of the crews. In fact, everybody coming to the crews once again.
Kenny Humpy comes down and gets service to his race car. Nick Ottinger just in front of him. Justin Bolton in the box as well. And what looked like it was going to put Alan Bowes maybe behind the 8 ball, it doesn't look like Alan Bowes is going to be too bad off, and he's going to gain a little bit of track position with this car. We'll let it shake out here in just a few moments' time as the field runs off pit road. We'll run to a pit stop ourselves. Don't go away. We'll be right back with more racing action from the Chicagoland Speedway and the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series.
Sorry, guys. I never would have thought making duck calls would have stirred up this much excitement.
No kidding. Got him coming up here.
Shortcut time!
That's what I'm talking about. You sure this is a good idea?
Oh, yeah. I got this.
I can't guarantee you how this will end, but Pete can guarantee your radiator for life. Introducing the Peak Run True Guarantee. Check it out at peakguarantee.com.
Welcome back to the Chicagoland Speedway. This is round number 15 of the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series, powered by iRacing. Your leader is Alan Bowes, Thomas Davis, Andrew Fash III, currently scored in your top 3 positions as we get ready to go back to green flag racing momentarily. Matt Busa and Ray Alfala complete your top 5. A bunch of wave-around cars here to get the cars that were on the tail end of the lead lap, Joe, back on the lead lap, including Shane Doherty, Timu Ivonen, Ryan Lowe, Rob Ackley, Brian Day, Byron Daly, Landon Harrison, Casey Tucker, Michael Johnson, Tyler Laughlin, Brad Davies, and Nathan Wise.
And all of them will be going around that pace car with a brand new paint scheme for this month, supporting the American Childhood Cancer Organization, one of the great charities that iRacing supports. You can find out more about them at acco.org. But for all races, including the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series, the pace car will be sporting that brand new gold paint scheme for the American Childhood Cancer Organization.
So the pace car will peel off this time by 53 will be completed on the board of 167, and this throws a little bit of strategy into everything. We'll see where Alan Bowes, Thomas Davis, Andrew Fash III, Matt Busa, and Ray Alfala slide out.
Green flag, green flag.
Green flag flies. The 21 is gone. It's going to be side by side for second. Andrew Fash III to the inside, and here goes the 2 of Ray Alfala, wasting little time. 3 wide on the inside.
Strategy working out for Alan Bowes right this moment, but it may not last very long, as Alan Bowes is going to come under fire immediately from Ray Alfala, Kenny Humpy and company as they continue to dig trying to get around all that other traffic. 3 wide, 4 wide behind them, around what looks like to be the 05 Ottinger.
34 of Matt Busa in the middle of this, the 74 of Taylor Hurst, the 47 of Chris Overland, the 36, the 83 going at it. Keep a half eye on the 2 of Ray Alfala as he tries to track down Alan Bowes. But behind them, it's controlled chaos right now, Joe. 34 on the outside, the 83 of Thomas Davis up there. 77 of Andrew Fash hops to the outside. These guys are trying to go to the front and trying to go to the front in a hurry.
Doing everything they can to try to get up front without causing any more troubles as they go 3 wide. One more time around the 05 of Ottinger, the 57 machine looks like being involved. And the 34 also involved in that mix as well. Still 2 by 2 in that Hornet's Nest, Tim, and it's only a matter of time before things get ugly.
74 continues to be side by side with the 77 up front. Alan Bowes continues to lead, but it's the 6-car freight train back here on the inside, trying to get past a couple of cars on the outside. Fayash nearly comes in contact with the wall off corner number 4, the 83 and 54 of Brandon Bowie. First time we've said his name all night long in the top 15, Joe, and he's looking for a top 10 run here as he's on the outside of the 83 of Davis.
Everybody looking to do something out here tonight as they continue to run. Meanwhile, a lot of bumping going on. The 83, the 54, the 50, the 01, the 77 all look like they are racing hard. The 05, once again, 3 wide in the middle. They'll get around the 77, but how long can they hold this pace up?
57 of Sturgis to the inside of the 34 of Matt Busa, the 36 to the inside of his teammate Kenny Humphrey. Chris Overland also going to make the move on the 58, the 74, going to try to reel him in. They get that back to single file racing. Now your first side-by-side battle is back here with Hudson and the 54 of Bowie, the 5 of Michael Conti to the inside of the 54 as well as they continue to work through corners number 3 and 4, and the 54 of Bowie going to fall back one more spot.
01 machine continues to dig. That is former champion Tyler Hudson. He's going to try to get around, looks like the machine of Thomas Davis, and will do so very effectively this time around. Meanwhile, I'm keeping a half eye on that 58 machine of Kenny Humphrey. He's not out of the danger zone yet. If he gets in an incident at this point, they might be deciding it next week at Homestead, Miami. So we've got to try to find a way to get out of this traffic and get back into a little bit of a clean air.
Yeah, some of these drivers up in front trying to get out of the pack that is back here. Looks like one starting to form around the 74. Taylor Hurst side by side with the 57 of Sturgis, and he'll look at the 58 of Humpy. Humpy looks at the 47 of Chris Overman. Looks to the inside, goes the peak number 58, and the 47 to the outside. They'll go side by side for what will be position at number 5 as they come off of corner number 4. They'll complete lap number 60 this time.
Just over 100 laps left to go here before we potentially crown the new champion of the season. And strategy looking to play very well into the hand of Alan Bowes. Since we restarted, he has not given up the lead. And in fact, he's got a comfortable lead on Ray Alfala, 0.3 of a second last time around. Maybe what, about 2.5, maybe 3 car lengths between those 2 cars. Corey Vincent comfortably in 3rd, Justin Bolton 4th, and now Kenny Humphrey cuts the nose off the 47 machine, and Kenny Humphrey back in the top 5.
There are 39 cars, or 38 cars, check that, Joe, still in this race. Patrick Crabtree and Kevin King are listed as in the pit area right now, so it is possible that if Kenny Humphrey was to retire right now, Ray Alfala was to win, lead the most laps, there's an opportunity, and it's a very slim opportunity, that Humphrey could very well lose the championship at Homestead Miami Speedway. But right now, as Kenny Humphrey races in position number 5, still has to race with a level head per se, Joe. But right now, it doesn't look like he's racing right now for the for that championship, as he and Chris Overland, as you mentioned, nearly had that moment.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Tim, and I could very easily be wrong. I remember 2013, it came down to Homestead Miami Speedway between Ray Alfala and Tyler Hudson. In 2014, did it also not come down to Homestead Miami between Ray Alfala and Michael Conti?
But it could come down to Homestead also being clinched this year, and that hasn't happened, I believe, as you mentioned, back in 2012. It's been a little while since the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series has been clinched the race before the season finale. So Kenny Humpy trying to do that for the first time in a couple of years. And Ray Alfalo right now sitting in position number 2, a couple of spots ahead of that number 58 car of Kenny Humpy, who sits in position number 5. And it's about 0.4 of a second from Alan Bowes back to Ray Alfalo. I really like the strategy that Alan Bowes played out there. Didn't look as hot, Joe, when these guys were going green and had a green flag run to it, but that caution played into the hand of Alan Bowes.
That caution played beautifully into the hand of Alan Bowes, and you can see how it's working very well on the track. Here's another interesting statistic for you that I just pulled out of the archives. The last time we ran Chicagoland as the second to last race of the season, Ray Alfalo ended up winning that on the way to the second championship. Now, last season, when we ran the second to last race, Ray Alfalo also won that, which led to a showdown at Homestead Miami Speedway. So, if you're a Ray Alfalo fan, statistics are on your side, but the one statistic you cannot account for is the other driver on the track.
And right now in that championship hunt, running in position number 5, Alan Bowes currently leading this race in position number 1. Corey Vincent's had a pretty good season, as is Justin Bolton. Corey Vincent went to victory lane a little bit earlier on this year. Justin Bolton has yet to do so. He runs in position number 4. A little bit of time on Kenny Humpy right now in position number 5. But Joe, if this comes down to a late run, I think Justin Bolton might be on the other side of the inch. Justin Bolton's car looks a little bit better on the shorter run compared to some of the other competitors out here on this racetrack.
A lot of drivers made a lot of changes when they came down to the road. Again, using the NPAS hashtag NPAS on Twitter during the first pit stop. They said, aside from tape, we made a change to every adjustment possible on that stop. Driver says it's better. So all these guys trying something different out here, trying something that they can figure out to try to come out to this race. And again, this is all brand new to them too. This dynamic track is something we've never seen before. It adds a new level of realism that a lot of these drivers and a lot of these teams, Tim, they just haven't figured out yet.
And we saw last week Landon Harrison and that team really hit on it. He came home in victory lane. He had to play a little bit of strategy in this racing game too, but Landon Harrison does come home with that win, his first in the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series. Landon sitting in position number 25. Caution is out on the speedway.
Caution number 2 on the track. It is Nick Ottinger coming off of turn number 4. He is slow on the track now, and that a spin coming out of turn number 4. That could be the nail in his coffin tonight. All by himself, he goes a spinning, and that is not what you want to see if you're the 05 Gale Force Racing team.
Yeah, Joe, it just looked like the 05 of Ottinger. The car got away from him at a corner number 4. He slaps the wall, pancakes the wall. That thing spins, and that 41 of Jake Sturgis, no time to react, especially as quick as it happened at a corner number 4. So Ottinger will have a lot of damage to the right-hand side of that race car and a little bit of damage to the 41 where he impacted the 05. Alan Bowes is your leader as he catches the pace car on the back straightaway, lap number 71 being worked on the board here. Alfalo, Vincent, Bolton, and Humpy, and about 20 laps after the last caution flag, I would assume these guys would be down on pit road.
I have no doubt we're going to see some pit stops this time around. Alan Bowes, Ray Alfalo, Corey Vincent, Justin Bolton, Kenny Humpy. It would not surprise me in the least to see all those drivers come down pit road for 4 brand new tires and a full tank of fuel as we're less than 100 to go before we finish here at Chicagoland. Alan Bowes will come down, passes the commitment line. Ray Alfalo, Corey Vincent, Justin Bolton, Kenny Humpy. It's wholesale pit stops for the field.
So we'll see what the 21, the 2, and the rest of the field does. I would expect there would be 4 tire stops all around the 21 into his box, and he will go around to the right-hand side of that race car. 2 tires on the right-hand side. They're going to pack this thing full of fuel, and I believe they will take 4 here. 4 tires for the 21 of Alan Bowes. They'll drop the jack right here, and he is down and away.
Meanwhile, Kenny Humpy overshot his pit stall coming into it. He had to back up in order to get back into the pit stall. That's going to open up the door for Ray Alfalo, for Corey Vincent, for Taylor Hurst, for the 0-1 of Tyler Hudson to all get the pass around the 58 of Kenny Humpy. And, you know, that pit stop may have just maybe given us a new leader.
Now, Alfala didn't get to the commitment cone in time. He, I believe, is going to slot into position number 3, Joe, the 21 and the 36 of Justin Bolton, sitting in position at number 3 now, Ray Alfala. So this will change things a little bit. I believe Taylor Hurst may have got off pit road quick as well. Corey Vincent going to fall a couple of positions here too, Joe. He's going to probably restart this race in 5th or 6th.
You know, the great thing about iRacing is that everybody can do it. You, me, anybody who has a computer and an internet connection can enjoy their running the virtual tracks that these guys run every other week here on PSR, Fans Choice TV, MRN, and all of our affiliates online. And if you want to get involved in the fun as well, we've got a great deal for you. Go to iRacing.com. If you're a new subscriber, if you use our promo code PR-2015 PSR TV, you buy 1 month, we'll give you 2 free and include the late model as well to get you started on all the oval racing you can handle this winter, getting yourself ready for racing season all year round. Remember, you for new subscribers only, go to iRacing.com right now. Use our promo code. You see it there at the bottom of your screen, 2015 or PR-2015 PSR TV. If you buy 1 month, we'll give you 2 free and throw in the late model as well.
So, Joe, I've got the calculator out. These guys just came down pit road. It's a 167-lap race, so we have approximately 94 laps to go on this one. When we had the green flag run, Ray Alfala and Kenny Humpy pitted around lap 42 and 43, respectively. Alan Bowes pitted on the lap 50 caution flag. Splitting the 94-lap run into 2. Obviously, there's some caution flags in there. That's approximately 46 to 47 laps. If this goes green, is this a 1 pit stop race to the finish, or do we see somebody pit once and then maybe a splash and go, maybe 2 tires at the end?
You know, at this juncture, everything is up for grabs. Everything is up for question on this field, and it really wouldn't surprise me to see a lot of guys making a lot of risky moves as the pace car lights go off. 1 more lap before back to green flag racing, and at this juncture, I think anything's up for grabs. I think you don't make that call until you kind of get a feel for where the race is going to go. Now, yellows beset yellows. We know that for a fact. And what a lot of these guys don't need is that brush of yellow fever, because that will change how they do business out here. That being said, their crew chiefs, if that happens, those crew chiefs will be able to figure it out and run some numbers of their own. And I think it's really too early to call, to make that call, to figure out what we're going to see and when we're going to see it, until we know what the pace of the center of this race is going to be.
Shortest green flag run that we've had this evening, Joe, has been just under 20 laps, and that was the last run that we had about lap 53 or so to about lap 71. So just under 20 laps of green flag racing we had on that last run. I think if this comes down to pit strategy, let's say this thing goes green for argument's sake to the end of the race, Alan Bowes went those 50 laps. He might have learned something on that run. Alan Bowes might be in the driver's seat right now when it comes to possibly some pit strategy late in this race. Pace car's off, Bolton's gone. Green flag flies, we are back underway. Alan Bowes is under fire from the Wendell Scott Foundation Ford, the number 2 of Ray Alfala to the inside of the 21 of Alan Bowes as they go down into corner number 1.
Not under fire so much as past the 2. We'll get around the 21 before we get out of turn number 2 even. So, it'll be Justin Bolton up front, Ray Alfala second, Alan Bowes third, Taylor Hurst will inherit position number 4. Now Tyler Hudson under fire from both Kenny Humpy and Corey Vincent. Humpy and Vincent side by side, and if you're the team right now, you're holding your breath. One false move from either of those drivers, and we're deciding it at Homestead, Miami.
Battle for the lead, and Ray Alfala will go to the inside of Justin Bolton and will make it look easy on the 36. Ray Alfala back to the top spot. Alan Bowes behind him, holding off Taylor Hurst in car number 74. Hurst has methodically been working his way to the front of the field, and he now sits fourth with Tyler Hudson in position number 5. Behind them, Corey Vincent, and I believe that is the 47 and the 57. Overland and Sturgis to the inside of the 10 of Corey Vincent. Couple of little battles popping up here and there throughout the field, a couple of laps after a restart.
Still a little bit cold, so don't look for anybody to make any crazy moves just yet. Everyone now looking to get about single file all the way through the field. Only 2 side-by-side battles I saw as I scrolled through the field here. And I think 10 and 5 is the closest one between Corey Vincent and the pie machine of Michael Connie, your defending champion. Now check that, back behind them, the 0-1 and 74 can get side by side as well.
And just in front of them, the 21 making the move on the 36 of Justin Bolton. Bolton falling back behind the number 21, and he's got a whole hungry pack behind him. Here comes the 0-1, looking to the inside, nothing doing down into the corner. Tyler Hudson will fall back in behind the 36, and the 47 of Overland will have that battle subsided with the 5 and the 57 and the 10. I don't think it's completely over, Joe, but for the time being, they are single file. There goes the 0-1 back to the inside of the 36.
So the 2013 champion is going to try to relive some of his glory days as he gets around. Well, attempt to get around 36 will not happen that time by. Tyler Hudson stays 4th. Justin Bolton remains 3rd, and Alan Bowes remains position number 2. But I've been keeping half eye on Humpy as he tries to navigate between the 47 and 57 machines. Very, very moments for him as they almost made contact a couple of times around that car, but the 58. He is driving incredibly conservative right now. He knows what's at stake.
Yeah, driving a little bit cautious right now, but I'm sure he also wants to get up there if he has a shot at the end of it to go for the win. Maybe conserving some tires here early in this run. We've seen a couple of drivers in that first 50-lap run fall back as the run progressed. The 0-1 to the inside of the 36. Once again, Justin Bolton trying to hold off Tyler Hudson in the 0-1. Overland behind them, working on the 74 of Taylor Hurst. Side by side, Bolton will let the 0-1 get into that position. That will be position number 3. We'll look to cross him over at a 2. Nothing doing there out of the second corner. And you look back, see the 47 and the 74 continuing to be side by side. Hurst now to the inside of Overland.
The battle continues as the 74 and 47 continue to exchange blows side by side, except that blows will not be changed as hard because Overland tries to use the apron to get away from the 74. First, not going to happen. That line continues to be tight as they continue to do battle slowly but surely down the backstretch.
Kenny Humpy going to try to take a look here in the 58 car on the 74 of Taylor Hurst as they get back into single file formation. The 57, the 10, and the 5 also a part of this little train. The 47 of Chris Overland's pushing towards the front as he took a little peek down to the inside at a corner number 4 on Justin Bolton. Bolton falling back, and maybe, quite possibly, Joe, he had that short run race car in the first run. Maybe he threw some changes at that car. Maybe they're not working right, but maybe also he's trying to conserve a little bit here, thinking that we could have a little green flag look to this race in the second half.
It wouldn't surprise me, and I'll tell you why. I think at this point in the race, these guys have a little bit better handle on the cars. They've got a better handle of what's going to happen on the track and what the adjustments these crew chiefs are allowed to make. And Tim, I know you are very well acquainted with a lot of these crew chiefs. With everything they're allowed to do here, there's a whole lot more that they can control on the track and in the car in order to make it run a whole lot more competitive down the line.
Yeah, I'm sure these guys are going to come in and throw some adjustments at these race cars throughout this event. And at least one more pit stop left in this race. We mentioned at least. It all depends where that caution flag does fly. But if there is no caution flag, Joe, for a lot of these drivers, especially those 6 or 8 we saw a little bit earlier try to extend it, they have a little bit of experience at it. I think we're going to see some of these drivers go a little bit longer and make some of those adjustments later on the stop. Michael J. Johnson has a webcam, and he sits back in position 22 right now. He's battling with David Rattler in the 09. Rattler to the outside, 39 to the inside, and you can watch him work as he works at a 4.
And look at the concentration on it. Look at the concentration on that driver as he gets around the 09 expertly. Michael J. Johnson moves himself up to position number 21, and that is a textbook pass, Tim.
Yeah, textbook pass there for the 09 or the 39. Check that on Michael Johnson, and he's one of those drivers who's looking to move up 24th in the point standings as well. Had a car almost around there. Rattler nearly scared half the field behind him. He's going to fall back a couple of spots, and now Adam Gilliland. Check that. Trey Eidson going to take a look at the 09 of Rattler as Rattler tries to maintain his car and maintain his position that he has now as he's fallen outside of the top 20 into position number 24. We have the 34 car now with Matt Musa battling. We're 3 wide down in the corner number 3.
Let's follow along with the 54 machine as he comes out of turn number 4. That 54 belonging to Brandon Bowie. He's got quite a bit of traffic around him, and he's got to try to figure out what and where he wants to make his move.
Yeah, he's got Brad Mahar just in front of him, made that move. The 34 of Matt Busa up high, the 11 of Brad Davies, Burmeister, and look who's trying to make his way up a little closer to the top 15. Yes, that's Landon Harrison, last week's winner in the 89 Flam JDR graphics car, as he has worked his way to the back bumper of Benjamin Burmeister, and in front of him, they are going at it, Joe, like it is the last lap. We're working lap number 89 of 167.
These guys know what's at stake here as 11 almost gets sideways coming off the turn. They're 3 wide in that same pack as it looks like this will be Landon Harrison getting around him, getting around the car in front of him. Now he's going to try to get around the 66 as well. These guys racing as hard as they can up there. Do they realize it's only lap 90?
Yeah, I think they do. Some of these drivers are trying to get some track position in case this thing does go green flag racing, and I think that's probably what the strategy is behind the wheel of the 89 of Landon Harrison. He and J.D. Lair trying to put something together for a second consecutive win in this series. Got one slow on the apron. Is that Adam Gilliland in car number 8 is slow down on the apron. We continue to stay green as the 89 looks up on the 11 of Davies, who has the 34 of Matt Musa to his outside.
That is correct. He does. Matt Busa now has a lot of traffic he's going to try to navigate with as Brad Davies will get around him. The 83 machine, let's say the 89 machine of Landon Harrison, he'll get around him as well. Benjamin Burmeister wants to try to get a piece of it. Not going to happen, though. Maybe not this time around, but maybe next time as they go 2 by 2 in return.
Busa, the 66 of Benjamin Burmeister back there, Brad Davies, and I believe that is the 89 of Landon Harrison. Report, Adam Gilliland may have blown a motor in that race car. They may have put just a little too much tape on the front end of that car. He's limped it back onto pit road, and Adam Gilliland might very well be done for the evening in car number 8. They continue to go at it. Around that spot, Kenny Humpy picks up one spot on Chris Overland to move Humpy back into the top 5. Taylor Hurst a part of that battle as well. Nice little, tight little battle just inside the top 5.
You know, and the one person, I hate to say it, but the one person that's happy to see that car get off the track is Kenny Humpy, because at this juncture, he should be in the safe zone. If my math is wrong, and Tim, you know I'm no mathematician, for those 6 cars that are off the track at this point, would mean Kenny Humpy can't finish any less than 35th, which puts him right where he needs to be for championship.
Yeah, 5 cars currently off the racetrack right now, Joe, and that would mean unofficially that if something were to happen to Kenny Humpy, albeit there could be some of those drivers come back out on the racetrack and try to make some laps, but right now it would be Kenny Humpy's championship, even if he did fall out of the race right now, and those drivers that were out of the race stayed out of the race. So Kenny Humpy right now running in 5th and looking for a little bit more as he tries to reel in Tyler Hudson.
As you ride on the roof cam of Humpy, looking at that the 2013 champion Tyler Hudson. He's in no hurry to get around him. Let's kind of take a look at those drivers that were out. Kevin King, he had a serious accident, so I doubt he's going back on the track. Patrick Crabtree, he's also involved in that incident, so I don't think he's going back. Sasha Wessler, I'm not exactly sure why he's off the track, but he's currently being showed 24 laps down. I think Ottinger also involved in that last incident. Adam Gilliland, he blew his engine, and he will finish 36th on the track. So I correct myself, that is going to be 5 cars that'll be off the track, which means if they
yellow flag is out.
They will caution flag out.
Alex Warren in the wall, and that will bring out the caution flag. The 82 car, one of the Aftermath Motorsports cars, will come to a stop on the front straightaway. And Joe, about the exact same spot that Nick Ottinger did a couple laps ago, and almost the exact same incident, only Warren does not have any other contact with any other race cars. So he'll loop that back in the right direction, and we will be under caution on this lap here on lap number 96. A tough break for Alex Warren in the 82.
Almost looks like the exact same incident, in fact, Tim. As you take a look at that replay there, it looks like just coming off of turn number 4, he bobbles it. He bobbles it hard into the wall, and that's going to send him around spinning. No, he does not make contact with another car, is the good news. But the bad news is he has flattened out the right side of that car, which could come back to haunt him later on in the race. Wholesale pit stops getting ready to happen one more time, Tim.
And this is going to set up some strategy as well. We've had caution flags since the first one on lap 50. We've had them approximately every 20 laps or so, as we are working lap number 97 right now. This could set up a strategy call to the end if we do go green for the 25 to 30 laps, and it could set up somebody popping the top and coming back down onto pit road under green flag. This caution flag is timed at an opportune time for some of these drivers as the field is coming down here to get service in their race cars.
Everyone coming down the attention of their crews, led by the 2 of Ray Alfalo, who was your leader when that caution flag came out. The 2 makes the pit stall perfectly. The 58 does not make the same mistake he made and stays in the stall perfectly, does not overshoot it. It will be, looks like 4 tires for everybody, and it looks like Tyler Laughlin might have missed his pit stall out there. Nonetheless, the race off pit road is going to be a tight one, and it looks like it will be Ray Alfalo, followed by Kenny Humpy.
Yeah, it looks like the 51 might have missed his box as he will drive through, and it was a very close for second place. Ray Alfalo, though, will lead the field off pit road, and he will lead the field, presumably back to the green flag. We're going to step away for just a few moments' time. We have just about 70 laps left in this race at the Chicagoland Speedway, round 15 of the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series. Don't go away.
Sorry, guys. I never would have thought making duck calls would have stirred up this much excitement.
No kidding. You got him coming up here.
Shortcut time!
That's what I'm talking about. You sure this is a good idea?
Oh, yeah. I got this.
I can't guarantee you how this will end, but Pete can guarantee your radiator for life. Introducing the Peak Run True Guarantee. Check it out at peakguarantee.com.
In the outside, contact made. 56 slides it at a 4. Who's going to be at the stripe? Dead even. Give it to Ryan Truex. Truex is your winner over Tandy. Welcome back to the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series here at the Chicagoland Speedway, getting ready to go back to the green flag. We remind you that if you want to get involved in the conversation here this evening, you can join us on Twitter, hashtag NPAS, that's hashtag NPAS, and you can get involved in the conversation. You might even see your tweet on the bottom of the screen as we go through these final 67 laps of this race, the Chicagoland Speedway, for round number 15, and what could be the final 67 laps for Kenny Humpy to clinch this championship for the 2015 season. He will start on the outside of Ray Alfala on this restart. Alfala will start from position number 1. Tyler Hudson, Justin Bolton in positions number 3 and 4, and Alan Bowes will restart from 5th. Hurst, Overland, Vincent, Michael Conti in 9th, and PJ Sturgis in 10th. Pace car is off. We wait for Ray Alfala to fire here. He will do so right now.
Green flag.
Will be back in the air. 58 of Humpy has to hold off the 01 of Tyler Hudson as they go down the front straightaway.
Side by side, the 2, the 0, 1, the 58, all do Alfala in the lead convincingly, but now Tyler Hudson and Kenny Humpy still doing business, and now here goes the 58. 58.
The yellow flag is out.
Humpy, major problems for him, and that could change the complexion of this race.
Caution flag will fly. He gets in contact. The 36 of Justin Bolton is also around in this incident, and it doesn't look like any major contact. A little brush on the wall, and the 21 of Alan Bowes going to get into him. The 36 going to get crossed up in this one as well, as Humpy will rejoin the field, and we'll see where he will shake out on this one. Quick caution on lap 101.
Taking a look at that, it just looks like the same incident a lot of these drivers have had, especially coming off of turns 3 and 4. Alex Warren and Nick Ottinger had the same incident. They just bobbled it coming off of the turn, and I'm not exactly sure why Kenny Humpy even bobbled it. They're coming off. He had plenty of room there, and maybe the tires didn't give, the wheel didn't give, the cold tires. Tim, what's your take on it?
A bunch of guys on a restart coming off the corner, and not a whole lot of room, and a couple of drivers ran out of room out of corner number 2 to bring out that caution flag. Actually, looking back here through the field, Joe, the 41 of Sturgis complaining to the 09 of David Rattler about not using his brakes. I don't see Rattler slows down, maybe not as much as the field, but there's no contact back there between those drivers. So have to watch that one there throughout the race, the remaining laps of this race, and see if that becomes an issue maybe between the 41 and the 09, as a lot of the front runners do stay out, but back around where David Rattler was running, just outside the top 30 or so, there are a couple of drivers that do decide to come down pit road, including Jake Sturgis, the 15, the 37 of Stephen Gilbert, Ryan Lowe is down on pit road, and of course Kenny Humpy down to get service in his car.
Well, this is good news and bad news if you're Ray Alfala. The good news is that Kenny Humpy's not going to be as competitive as he was. Heavy damage in that 58 machine, and they are going to be down there for quite a little bit trying to get everything straightened out. The bad news is those 5 cars I was talking about earlier, King, Crabtree, Wessler, Ottinger, Gilliland, they're gone. They are out for the count. They have not returned to the track. So unless something crazy happens with one of those cars, Kenny Humpy still could be within the safe zone of clinching, if my memory serves me correctly.
Yeah, I believe you're right, Joe. I think the number coming in was 37, and that would put Kenny Humpy within clinch position. But keep in mind, we still have just over 60 laps to go in this thing. Kenny Humpy right now runs 31st. He's going to try to gain any points that he can, as Humpy will come back out and rejoin the racing surface here. It doesn't look very pretty, but I'm sure he'll come back, and if he has another lap to come down and get service to that race car, they'll try to work and massage that number 58 a little bit more. But race isn't over yet. We have a few laps still left, a few cautions possibly still left as well. You mentioned cautions breed cautions earlier, and if you're putting that, if you're keeping track, that is the shortest green flag run that we had of approximately a lap and a half all night long, which trumps the 20 laps or so that we had earlier in the race for the shortest green flag run. So are we done seeing the caution flags? I don't think we are. Could Kenny Humpy gain a few spots? He possibly could. He's got to make sure there's no motor damage to that race car, not overcook the motor on that race car, because you know that he wants to come home and come home in one piece to clinch his championship.
Tweet of the night so far goes to Lynn Kincello on Twitter using the hashtag NPass. He says, somewhere there is a pig in a catapult getting ready to launch because Humpy is at risk of not clinching the title tonight. And I think truer words have never been spoken.
But even if Kenny Humpy only needed 7 points coming in this evening, in order for that to happen, I'm sure Ray Alfala and I'm sure Slip Angle Motorsports are down in the virtual pits of Adam Gilliland, down there with Nick Ottinger, trying to get them to get back on the racetrack and trying to do a couple of laps just in case Humpy does maybe blow a motor or gets into another incident or whatever the case may be. We'll see what transpires here over these next 62 laps, which is what we will have left when we do go green. Ray Alfala will now have Tyler Hudson, Alan Bowes, Overland, and Hurston. Obviously, Ray Alfala has been so strong here this evening, Joe, and he's racing for a championship, or what could be a championship. He's trying to clinch second place overall in the series as well. But if you're Tyler Hudson and Alan Bowes and Taylor Hurst, you want to go for a win, don't you? How hard do you race Ray Alfala here in these remaining 60 laps?
Well, as hard as it takes, really, and because at this point you've got literally nothing to lose on the season. As I take a look back at the score sheet coming into tonight's race, Alan Bowes was 34th in points. He would need a win. He would need 2 wins to get locked into next season if everything
green flag.
Guys, so there's a lot of guys outside the top 20 right now who literally have absolutely nothing to lose. Among those names here, I'm just going to rattle off a few of them as we get ready to go back to green flag racing. Cody Bynes, 22nd. Up, green flag, never mind. I'll list the names in the middle.
At a corner number 2, down the back straightaway. The battle is now for position number 4 as Brian Blackford moves to the inside of the 21 of Alan Bowes. The 5 is side by side with the 74 of Taylor Hurst. Landon Harrison has made his way into the top 10 as he begins to get on the hunt. The 57 and the 10 are side by side just in front of the 89 car. Up in front, it continues to be Ray Alfala, Tyler Hudson, and Chris Overland, but it's a mess back here around 5th.
It is definitely a mess in a lot of places on this track. But let's go back to that battle on around position number 5. As a lot of guys trying to pick up the pieces from that first incident. Alan Bowes in that mix. Brian Blackford, Corey Vincent, PJ Sturgis, Landon Harrison, all among those drivers all trying to figure out what to do. Now PJ Sturgis trying to use an apron to get around the 10. The 10 of Vincent. He will do so successfully as he ride on the roof cam with 53 of Blackford trying to hunt down Alan Bowes.
Yeah, he's looking at Alan Bowes. Great run off corner number 2, but nowhere to put it for Brian Blackford. Blackford continues to take a little peek on the inside of the 21 of Alan Bowes. That is the battle for 6th and 7th. The 57 of PJ Sturgis also back there. What a great run at a 4 for Sturgis. To the inside he goes on Brian Blackford. They're going to go side by side for that spot. And Corey Vincent going to close in, and Landon Harrison comfortably there in position number 10, waiting to make a move too.
So as that settles out, the 10 gets loose as he's battling with the 43 of Brian Blackford for position. Blackford still loose, but Corey Vincent finds a way to get out. PJ Sturgis will get around those cars as well. He will stay position number 8. Alan Bowes looks like he lost position. Taylor Hurst, no, check that, he will pick up position, and he will be right behind Taylor Hurst. Now the 547 doing battle, and now in the top 4 for the first time this season. You've got 3 champions all running in the top 5. I don't think we've seen that all season, Tim.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've seen that, Joe. Great to see those drivers running real well here this evening. Bowes is on the outside looking in now. He started up front on this restart, and now the 57 to the inside of the number 21. That is a battle for position number 6 as PJ Sturgis begins to inch his way a little bit closer to the front of the field. And keep in mind, PJ Sturgis enters this race 3rd in the standings, and if he wants any chance at catching position number 2, he's got to outrun Ray Alfala. But it's hard to outrun Ray Alfala when Ray Alfala is out in front and pulling away.
That is correct, and now Ray Alfala has new wind in his sails because he knows there's an outside opportunity that having the win and leading the most laps, picking up all the bonus points, may keep him alive for one more race. And if you're Ray Alfala, the 2-time champion, that's all you're asking for. One more race. And that would mean for the 3rd consecutive season, it will all come down to Homestead, Miami. Now, I remember 2013 very, very well for Ray Alfala. He gambled on pit strategy at Homestead, Miami. It did not work for him. Last year, I believe, is the incident that took him out. So this could be the redeeming year for Ray Alfala.
You look back from the 01 to the 47, and you see a whole lot of double clutch lined up. It's Chris Overland looking at the 01 of Tyler Hudson. And There's a driver that's standing to gain a little bit as well. You look at the Last Row Motorsports teammates running 3rd and 4th in the standings. Overland 4th in the standings with 396 points to PJ Sturgis' 420. There's 24 points there, and Chris Overland is trying to gain a few more on PJ Sturgis, who sits back in position number 6 right now. Not a huge gain, Joe, but enough to keep him in the hunt for position number 3 in the standings when we go to Homestead. And keep in mind, Brian Blackford involved in that battle as well, and he runs within the top 10 at this juncture in the race on lap number 114. So Overland, PJ Sturgis, Brian Blackford, all putting on a little battle amongst themselves for that 4th place spot in the standings, and possibly the 3rd place spot in the standings if they can catch PJ Sturgis, and running all of them well here this evening at Chicagoland.
I want you to take a look here at something on the track, Tim, and this is really, I want you to take a look at is, you're seeing the strength of the dynamic track coming into play. Take a look around this track. You start to see the track starting to rubber up. You're starting to see that dark groove around this track where these drivers prefer to run through the turns, coming out of the turns, and through the tri-oval. Now you're starting to see why this dynamic track is so important. And you're really starting to see where and how this track starts to change for the race and makes these drivers make different decisions as they continue to run on lap 116 and 27.
47 to the inside of the 0-1 as they'll go side by side, and Chris Overland will try to pick up position number 2 on Tyler Hudson on the 0-1 car, and it looks like he'll do so coming down across the stripe to complete lap number 116. 2 laps ago, Joe, the 21 of Alan Bowes came down into pit road to surrender a top 10 spot to come down into pit road. They are within about 50 laps or so from the end of this race. Alan Bowes can make it on fuel, but the question is, if this thing does go green, is that the right strategy to put Alan Bowes in victory lane?
Well, it worked for him earlier. It worked for him when we had that first caution flag, and we were questioning what Alan Bowes was doing. And I think we're going to try it again. I think we're going to, once again, try to go to Hail Mary on the track and see what exactly happens when they put it out there and see, well, can we make it work, and can we effectively steal a win here at Chicagoland? Again, it's the end of the season as we watch the 05 and the 5 and the 01, the 2 former champions, Tyler Hudson and Michael Connie, do business on the track. You know, it's the end of the season. You're outside the top 20 in points. You got to throw a Hail Mary, and if you're going to do so, this is the track to do it.
We'll see if that strategy does work out, but keep in mind, when we started this race and he went 50 laps, went a little bit longer than everybody else, he was trying to save himself a pit stop. Everybody at this juncture will have to come down pit road one more time, and I think some of these drivers are trying to extend that a little bit. The last caution flag happened on lap 101. Brad Mahar throwing the hand out the window. He will be coming down pit road this time by and surrendering what will be 13th place this time by in front of a gaggle of cars, and he was a close call with the 11 of Brad Davies, but the 13 will come down into pit road, and he looks like he was a little bit cautious coming down to that line, Joe. He was 45 miles an hour, and now he's trying to boost up that speed a little bit, being a little aggressive on that pit speed coming down into pit road.
Yeah, you know, again, you're doing everything you can to pick up and retain as much position as humanly possible, and there it is. You know, you have to take those chances. You have to take those shots on track to see what you can do. A couple of those other lap cars, or those broken cars that we talked about earlier, Kevin King just came back down the pit road after completing a lap out there, and I've got a feeling some of those cars are still trying to do whatever they can to turn laps out here because they know what's at stake.
Yeah, those 5 cars that were broke a little bit earlier, right now currently down on pit road. Alan Bowes, after that pit stop, is shown as 1 lap down, but he's trying to cut his way through the field with those 2 cars coming down pit road. Kenny Humpy is listed as position at number 33 right now on the field. Ray Alfala continues to lead, and it's 1.6 seconds over Chris Overland. Tyler Hudson runs in 3rd, but don't look now from 3rd on back. What a battle that is. Blackford took a peek that time on PJ Sturgis. The 33 car wants to enter the top 5, and he's got a whole host of hungry competitors in front of him.
Yes, he does. And there's a lot of, now that we're starting to see the pit strategy play out, the pit strategy starting to cycle through once again. We're going to be in a position where we're seeing a lot of different strategies, a lot of different ideologies come into play. And when you mix them all up, it could lead to trouble, especially at the end of the race. The guy that doesn't benefit from that, Ray Alfaro. The guy that does benefit from it, Kenny Humpy, because he can continue to use that time to build his way up and try to clinch his championship tonight. Battle now for fourth, as it looks like there's a 5 of Michael Conti under fire from
Taylor Hurst to the inside, trying everything that he can to keep that position or take that position away from Conti. And here comes the 57 of PJ Sturgis to the inside, and he will be followed along by the 33 of Brian Blackford. You look out from the 74 back to what is now a 3-car battle for position number 5. Conti holding his own on the outside, but Sturgis is going to get the run to the corner. Blackford will as well. Caution is on the speedway.
Caution flag out once again. It looks like it's going to involve the number 9 machine. That is Tyler Hill, who's going to bring out that caution flag. It looks like he made contact with the 21 machine of Alan Bowes, and the number 22 getting a piece of that as well. So Alan Bowes, that Hail Mary we talked about, that pit strategy, it did not pan out for him, only because he made contact with the 22 machine of Rob Ackley.
And you know, Joe, looking back at this, these drivers do have spotters. A lot of these drivers have in-game spotters. Tyler Hill's spotter is listed as EJ O'Rourke, so we're going to blame him for this one. Alan Bowes, brand new tires in that race car. The 9 of Tyler Hill goes up that racetrack. And Joe, I'm going to use the word spatial awareness, because the 9 car did not know the 21 was coming. If he had that spotter on there, he might have figured that out a little bit quicker. We'll leave it at that. Ray Alfala is coming down into pit road, being pushed by Chris Overland and the rest of the field.
So Alfala will lead everyone down pit road once again on lap number 126. 41 laps left to go as on the track, as Alfala will should take 4 tires and fuel this time by. In front of him, Justin Bolton will come in, and it looks like for 4 tires and a full tank of virtual Sunoco racing fuel. Alfala the first down and away, and your leader will have no competition coming off for position number 1. Taylor Hurst comes off second. It looks like Hudson beat Overland for position number 3, and Michael Conti rounds out your top 5.
And we're going to go green flag racing with less than 40 laps to go. That could very well be the final stop of the night, as you look at Kenny Humpy trying to fix some damage to that race car. This thing goes green the rest of the way, Joe. It's we're over for pit stops. It's what you have now in this race car, those adjustments that you made all night long, coming back out on the racetrack.
Absolutely right. Now Kenny Humpy he's been in a very precarious situation here. He's still in a position where he's able to clinch the championship as he comes down and away, trying to stay on that lead lap. But it's going to mean some very interesting things as we get ready to go back to green flag racing. Less than 40 to go, and Tim, now you start to really see the Hail Marys come out, because at this point, if you're one of these drivers in the mix that doesn't have it, that is looking to get in the top 20, or just looking to preserve some spots, or just to win for that matter, what can you do?
Quick pit stop by Taylor Hurst as well to come out in position number 2. Tyler Hudson third, Overland and Michael Conti in position number 5. We'll see if we can't get a hold of Alan Bowes. Alan, what do you think the 9 car was thinking there?
I don't know. I think with me being on the fresher tires, I was driving it pretty easy and he overdrove the corner, but that right there has pretty much been our season in a nutshell. Running good, or had decent speed, and then just get wrecked. So, you
had the strategy play out earlier too. You were lap 50 leading this race, caution comes out, you come down pit road, everybody follows you. You had the strategy played out to a T.
Yeah, our car was definitely fast enough. All we needed was a little bit of strategy because of our poor qualifying effort, but it's nice to know that we could at least do it. I mean, once we got up front, it's not like we fell back. We were able to maintain a lead on Alfala, so I can't thank everybody at Dead Zone enough. Dustin Linger, he put in a lot of time in the setup this week, and it showed. We had a lot of speed, and it's a shame that we got taken out like this. But you know, I gotta thank my sponsors, jackandtech.com. You guys can head over there and get a pretty awesome paint scheme. RAR Chevette. You know, I got to meet him this weekend at the real life Chicagoland race, so that was pretty awesome. I also got to thank Checker Flag Interactive. You know, they've stuck with me all season, and I can't thank them enough for that.
And that's Alan Bowes. We'll see him in a couple of weeks at the Homestead Miami Speedway to close off this 2015 NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series season. We're getting ready to go back to green. Ray Alfalla, Taylor Hurst, your front row. Hudson, Overland, and Michael Conti completing your top 5. Sturgis, Blackford, Vincent, Thomas Davis. There's Landon Harrison creeping around in the top 10 as we get ready, Joe, to come back to green.
And what a restart we're going to have when we get back to Green Flag Racing. Alfalla, Hurst, Hudson, Overland, Conti, your top 5. 3 champions in the top 5 getting ready to do business once again. And then you've got the outside of them, Brian Blackford, Corey Vincent, Thomas Davies, Landon Harrison, and Justin Bolton. Arguably our deepest top 10 yet as the green flag gets ready to fly.
Green flag.
One more time over Chicagoland, and Ray Alfalla wastes no time getting an advantage over Tyler Hudson Company.
Yeah, let's Hudson go to the inside to pick up position number 2 here, and now the 74 of Taylor Hurst. Restarts haven't been his strong suit this evening, Joe. He's on the outside of the 5 of Michael Conti, trying to hold on to what is now position number 3. The 33 of Blackford, the 47 of Overland are side by side. PJ Sturgis hanging on the outside of this battle as well. Top 4 single file, first side by side battle is now at 5th.
Taking a look out the back of the 5 of Conti, and you see the 57, the 33, the 47 all doing battle for position number 4 on the field, or sorry, position number 5 on the field. Chris Overland doing everything he can to try to get away from them. So the 57 and 33 left to their own devices. They will settle them out amongst themselves for position number 6, and it will be PJ Sturgis with a big advantage on the outside. Everyone getting back to single file.
Yeah, gets a great run off corner number 4. Brian Blackford will have to reset and try to make his way past the 57, whatever means necessary. Landon Harrison picks up a spot as well to move up to position number 9. Tyler Hudson beginning to put the pressure on the 2 of Ray Alfalla, and this is the first time all night long that we've seen a battle up in front for the lead. At least Hudson putting a lot of pressure on the 2 of Ray Alfalla. Can he try to get past this 2 here and lead some laps here late in this one? Hudson to the inside of the 2.
The 2 and 0-1, 2 former champions battling like it's 2013 for the lead. And it will be Tyler Hudson with the advantage. And for one of the rare instances in 2015, Tyler Hudson will lead some laps, especially the tail end of the season. So Tyler Hudson, the 2013 champion, back in the saddle one more time, and he will take away position number 1. Taylor Hurst now in 2nd, Ray Alfalla in 3rd. Not what you want to see if you're Ray Alfalla.
One of the strongest races we've seen out of Tyler Hudson all season long. Lap 1 of 33. Going to go to the 0-1 car, the 74 of Taylor Hurst in position number 2. And now Ray Alfalla, Joe, is falling back. Michael Conti, the 47 of Overland. And here comes Sturgis to the inside, the 47 for P5. Ray Alfalla in the Wendell Scott Foundation Ford. Not looking so hot over the first 133 laps.
Meanwhile, if you're tracking the champion, the heir apparent, I should say, Kenny Humpy is currently being scored 31st on the field as the 57 machine starts to make a move. In fact, he will complete that move. PJ Sturgis moves up to the next position, position number 4, passing Michael Conti that time around. So PJ Sturgis, who had a top 5 last week, he wants to make it 2 for 2 on TV.
The 01 of Tyler Hudson, Taylor Hurst, Ray Alfalla, your top 3. Tony Stevens, I believe, has just put his headset on. Welcome in. You've missed the first 135 laps.
Well, thanks, Tim. Always glad to be better late than never. But so far, sounds like it's a very exciting race here at Chicagoland, as is always the case. Always love coming here. Very unique racetrack, and obviously a home base for Peak Antifreeze. This race very special to them, and of course, only a handful of laps to go and a championship on the line as well. Look forward to the final few laps.
Final few laps starting to wind down here as these guys can go the rest of the way on their gear. With 32 to go, the question is, though, will they if a caution flag comes out? Tyler Hudson, Taylor Hurst, Ray Alfalla, PJ Sturgis, Michael Connie, your top 5. Rest of the field, single file for the most part. Only side by side is going to be Nathan Wise and Trey Eidson, and that is a battle for position, I believe.
PJ Sturgis in car number 57, Joe, might be the quickest car on the racetrack, or one of the quickest cars on the racetrack. He's got the 2 of Ray Alfalla in front of him, and he's got 30 and a half laps to work up to the top 3, and they're all within striking distance right now. Taylor Hurst keeping the 01 honest in front. 57 of PJ Sturgis is on the move. We mentioned earlier, 3rd place in the point standings. If he wants any shot at Ray Alfalla in the final race, he has to keep him in sight and maybe gain 1 or 2 points on the 2 car of Ray Alfalla. Sturgis has to step up his game in the remaining 30 laps.
So as it stands now, it would be the 0-1 Tyler Hudson continuing to lead. Now let's go back to position number 3. Ray Alfalla over PJ Sturgis, pavilion 4, respectively. Taking a look at the points, it's only a 43-point deficit between Alfalla and Sturgis. And if PJ Sturgis wants to get a little bit extra money this year for his efforts on the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series, powered by iRacing, he's got to do more. He doesn't have the luxury of time on his side. He's got to start digging, and he's got to start digging now if he wants to make that little extra money. At this point, every position, every lap, every move counts and makes a difference in how many numbers are on that check.
And let's work back a couple of spots there for 47 Chris Overland. He just lost one to Corey Vincent in car number 10. Vincent is now up to position number 6. Landon Harrison behind him moved a spot ahead of Brian Blackford. That is key in that battle for position 4 and 5 in the standings, with Overland leading Blackford coming in by only 1 point. And now Overland leading Blackford by 2 positions on the racetrack, but that might change quickly because Landon Harrison is coming back towards the front of the field. That could change before this thing is over. Speaking of changing, Ray Alfalla on the back bumper of Taylor Hurst. That's the battle for 2nd place, and they are within striking distance of the 01 of Hudson. They begin to pull away from PJ Sturgis.
It's getting down to go time right now, Tim, as guys are trying to close it on the leader. And here goes Ray Alfalla now in that Wendell Scott Foundation number 2. He'll move alongside now by Taylor Hurst to move the 2 car up to position number 2, giving chase to Tyler Hudson. And I have to say, I'm very impressed so far. If you were talking a minute ago about Chris Overland and Landon Harrison, Harrison picked up that win a couple of weeks ago, 1 week ago, and it's amazing how much momentum can carry you in the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series. Harrison inside the top 10, and now Alfalla down to just a couple of car lengths on the leader, Tyler Hudson.
So the top positions for the cash may be settled, but something I've been watching all night as we came into this race, Brian Blackford had 395 points. He's the last one looking to make some harder money for his efforts this season. Corey Vincent came in only 5 points behind Matt Busa came in 5 points behind Brian Blackford for that money position. Corey Vincent only came in about 9 points behind Brian Blackford. So when you look at that cutoff for who gets cash and who gets iRacing credit for their top 10 finishes here, that is definitely not settled.
Yeah, Matt Busa has had a horrible night, at least to start off the evening. He is back to 18th place. We'll see where he does wind up in the final few laps of this one. Ray Alfalla, the last 2 laps, has put the pressure on Hudson. He goes to the inside here down the back straightaway. Great run off corner number 2, and Ray Alfalla will look back to the lead on Tyler Hudson in the 0-1. New leader as we work lap 144. It is the 2 car of Ray Alfalla. Behind them, Conti playing 2 lanes. Michael Conti trying to hold on. They're 3 wide behind the 5.
Hold on just a minute. That one's going to get really hairy over in turn number 1. They get it settled out. Corey Vincent right there in the middle of that. PJ Sturgis and others. And guys, it's go time. They realize this is the next to last race of the season. If they want to make something happen, they've got to make it happen now. And Ray Alfalla, speaking of which, is doing everything he needs to do to win this championship. The problem is the math just does not work out. It basically now is a done deal where Kenny Humphrey is being scored. But nonetheless, I think Alfala and a lot of these other drivers too, Joe, are trying to go out on a very high note because they know this race and 2 weeks from now at Homestead can really set the tone for 2016.
Well, Alfala, as I told you earlier in the race, definitely is the closer. Last year, the last race of the season was at Darlington. He walked away with that one, with that win. 2 years ago, in 2012, when we, 3 years ago, in 2012, when Chicagoland was the second to last race on the season, Ray Alfala won that one as well on the way to his second championship. So, Alfala, who is a household name in this sport, he's got a lot of opportunity to walk away with the closer here and have a good run into 2016. The bad news is it just might be too little, too late.
Blackford and PJ Sturgis side by side. Blackford will pick up position number 6. Justin Bolton is on the move. He's dispatched Landon Harrison back to position number 10, and Thomas Davis looking to follow suit onto the 89 as he looks to the inside of the Flam. Number 89 Landon Harrison, the 10 trying to take a look at the 57 of PJ Sturgis. Nice little battle back here as Blackford pulls away with 6th. This is the battle for 7th.
Bottom all the way through turns 3 and 4. Really amazing how much this dynamic track model has opened up the racing group here in Chicago and really everywhere on the surface. Used to be we would never see this. We'd see guys pretty much glued to that white line or glued to whatever groove they had, and now we see them all around the racetrack. Every groove is just as fast as the other one if your car's set up right. Great racing. They're still side by side, 2 and 3 wide, back for 6th and 7th on back.
The 57 machine got sideways coming off of turn number 2, and that is going to hurt him. That is going to hurt PJ Sturgis as he now ride on the 83 machine, on the roof of that 83 machine, that belonging to Thomas Davis elsewhere on the track. But meanwhile, in that groove, that 8 to be on, that crew of 6, 7, 8 to be on. Corey Vincent, Justin Bolton, Hornets Nest, PJ Sturgis, Thomas Davis, and that Landon Harrison, Benjamin Burmeister. I don't think they're done racing yet, guys.
And you remember back, Justin Bolton was in that incident with Kenny Humphrey on lap 101. 49 laps later, he is back in the top 10 and looking for a little bit more. Currently sitting in position number 9 and looking to move to the front of the field. Casey Tucker is at the back of this little pack as well. He's working at position number 13 and working on Benjamin Burmeister for position number 12. A lot of positions within about this top 15 or so are far from settled. We have a pack all the way back from position number 7 way back to 12. Keep a half eye up in front as Brian Blackford has tracked down Michael Conti for position at number 4. And second place is on the line as well. Taylor Hurst and the 01 of Tyler Hudson are side by side. Hurst going to move to position number 2, over a second behind your leader, Ray Alfala.
And right behind him here comes Blackford on the 5 of Michael Conti. You talked about it, Tim. And now Blackford is moving forward. Keep in mind, Blackford and current leader Ray Alfala are teammates at Slip Angle Motorsports. Very good chance those two cars have identical or very close to identical setups underneath of them. And both drivers, as we've seen in the final few laps here, are surging towards the front. Could Blackford maybe have a shot at a win if we get a late caution or something happens? Or maybe, at the very least, a slip angle sweep of the top 2. A lot of guys are really starting to dial in this, again, this dynamic track surface and how these cars work over the course of a run while the racetrack builds rubber. So I think maybe the slip angle guys have kind of figured this out. Remember, last week at Darlington, they were just as strong as they are here tonight.
And you can definitely see the strength and education of this field as they continue to run around this dynamic track that is constantly changing lap after lap. In that backpack, Justin Bolton has now found his way to the front of that group. He will now be scored position number 7 after getting around Corey Vincent. In position number 8, Thomas Davis now in position number 9. It's a battle for 10. Lyndon Harrison and PJ Sturgis battling for position number 10. And not to be outdone, Kevin King back in the mix. Not racing for points at this point. Not racing for position, but just trying to get some TV time.
Yeah, Kevin King a part of this little battle right here, albeit he is about 80-something laps down, I believe 70 laps down. King will bow out of that battle. Blackford will move up past Tyler Hudson into position number 3. Now does he have enough to catch Taylor Hurst in car number 74 as we work the late laps of this one? Next time by, only 12 laps remaining at the Chicagoland Speedway, and Brian Blackford is one of the faster cars within the top 5, and he is on the move looking towards the 74.
He is one of the faster cars, like you said, Tim, but here's the thing. He is slower lap for lap than his teammate, Ray Alfalla, who leads this race. Last time by, Alfalla gapped the field by a good 0.2 of a second. It's money time. Ray Alfalla, oh, look who's there to cash the check. Yeah, Mr. Two-Car himself. No surprise there. But I think Blackford might have a very, very good shot at second, and he's continuing to inhale Taylor Hurst. It was about 0.3 of a second. Now it's a matter of about 3 car lengths as they work off turn number 4. And Blackford, look at that car off turn 4. He's able to keep his car farther down on the exit of the corners, not pushing up to the outside like Taylor Hurst. See Blackford's car really doing more of what he wants it to do, whereas Hurst is kind of doing what the car wants to do. A little bit of difference there between those two, but I think that might end up being what gets Brian Blackford that spot before the checker flag.
Meanwhile, the 58 of Kenny Humpy, for those curious to where he's running, he is broken back into the top 30. He is now 29th. So guys, safe to say, if we continue to run for the next 11 laps the way we're running, we could be celebrating a new king on the track. Meanwhile, back through this field, Ray Alfalla shows no signs of getting rid of losing this race. Taylor Hurst second, Brian Blackford third, Tyler Hudson, Michael Connie fifth, as Kevin King still trying to make a showing out there.
Here comes Overland to the inside of the 5 of Conti. Took a run down into corner number 3, could not get there. The 5 and the 0-1 going at it as here comes the 29 of Kevin King. He is 70 laps down on fresh tires, and he's taking a peek on the outside of the 47 of Chris Overland. They're trying to make a little bit of air time here on iRacing Live. The 47, the 5, and the 0-1. That is your battle for positions 4, 5, and 6 down the back straightaway on 159.
You know, I hate to do this, but I really have to call out Kevin King and kind of go, what in the world is he doing? Now, being the veteran that he is, being the racer that he has grown up and known himself to, or been known to be, he's not doing anything crazy. I'm just kind of amazed that he's up here sticking his nose into some of these battles. He hasn't really interfered with anything yet. Like you said, just maybe getting some TV time, but maybe trying some things, trying to learn. But really kind of curious what the motivation is here. Again, not doing anything wrong by any means, just very different than what I would have expected if I was 70-some laps down.
Well, I mean, keep this in mind too. Kevin King is one of the legacy names in this series. If you've been followed this series at all, you know who Kevin King is. You know his contributions to sim racing now and in the future. So, but that being said, we also are seeing for the first time ever the dynamic track that we've been talking about all last race and all this race. So Kevin King relearning that dynamic track, and whatever he picks up in the race tonight will help him not only now, but in the future. Meanwhile, battle up for second as the 33 and 74 look to do business on the closing laps here at Chicago.
To add to the Kevin King point, he is 18 laps behind Patrick Crabtree with less than 10 laps to go. There's no way he can gain or lose a position at the end of this race. Here comes the 33 to the inside of the 74. Great run in the middle of 1 and 2 for Blackford. Going to try to position that 4 to the inside. Cannot get there at a corner number 2, but it looked good for a run. Brian Blackford going to try to take this spot in the remaining 5 laps of this race. Here he goes to the inside. Hurst giving him a little room to operate. Blackford not sticking that nose down there yet. Close battle for position number 2 with 5 laps to go at Chicagoland.
Taylor Hurst is doing everything that he needs to do to keep that runner-up spot in hand. He's trying to slow down in the center of the corner, trying to break any sort of momentum that Brian Black might gain for his use of the corner. And so far, doing an impeccable job of keeping that 33 car behind him. Blackford has tried everything in the book except getting into the rear bump. Well, never mind. He loosened him up just enough that time through turns 3 and 4. And here comes Brian Blackford at the conclusion of lap number 163. Doesn't have the spot yet, but as they work into turn number 1, looks like Blackford will, in fact, claim the advantage. Move Brian Blackford up to position number 2. Slip Angle Motorsports, top pair in this one.
Not for long, though, necessarily, as Taylor Hurst tries the crossover going into turns 3 and 4. Will he be successful? The lower line, as you can see, in that darkening groove has been the place to make those passes, and Taylor Hurst will have no trouble on the rubbered up bottom to pick up that position one more time. Another crossover coming, maybe, as now we have more battles going on for position number 5.
Yeah, that crossover move was nice. Blackford going to continue to peek to the inside. Keep a half eye on that battle back there for 5th as Tyler Hudson continues to go at it with Justin Bolton. Bolton, the man on the move late in this race, and it looks like he's going to try to get a top 5 spot before this thing is all said and done. He's up to 6th on Tyler Hudson. Thomas Davis trying to follow the 36 through, and he's only going to have a couple of laps now, Tony, to catch Chris Overland.
Only a couple of laps to get the job done. I'm not sure it can happen, but he's close enough, and Bolton has been bolting through the field as we've gotten down closer and closer to the end of this one. Lap number 167. That battle per second, it's cooled off. Taylor Hurst has reclaimed that spot now with 10 car lengths between himself and Brian Blackford. But this is great racing, guys, all throughout the pack as these guys get older and older tires on their machines as they continue to circulate and they degrade. This is just fantastic, Joe, as the white flag is in the air.
So for the final time, Ray Alfalla, with a commanding lead, will go around and barring something crazy happening on the track, Alfalla, for the 3rd time in 4 seasons, will win the second to last race on the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series circuit. Through turns 3 and 4 he goes, and the driver of the Wendell Scott Foundation, Ford Fusion, walks away the winner at Chicagoland.
And back in position number 29 as he works through corners number 3 and 4, the Peak Antifreeze, the team at number 58 of Kenny Humpy will come up at a corner number 4, and unofficially he will come across the line as the 2015 NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series champion. Kenny Humpy will win his first title. Of course, we still have to crunch all those numbers, but Tony, Kenny Humpy had an incident on lap 101 this evening with Justin Bolton and Alan Bowes, and he comes home in 29th, limps it home, and what should be the championship for that team.
Well, this is something we talked about throughout the season. When do you have your hiccups? Kenny Humpy had his hiccups here at Chicagoland, and luckily for him, he had enough of a point cushion that it was not an issue, and as we go to Homestead in 2 weeks, unofficially, he will be the champion. Mind you, that's pending any sort of penalties or anything that might happen, but I'm pretty sure Kenny Humpy can go ahead and do victory donuts. That gap he had over Ray Alfalla is pretty doggone substantial.
And Kenny Humpy will not opt to do them while Ray Alfalla takes the Polish victory lap, if you will. What a great race to effectively end the season, guys. This has been a lot of fun watching these guys figure out this track, and the Chicagoland Speedway has been a lot of fun to figure out, to watch these guys run around, and you really couldn't ask for a better way to send the season out in a big bang. But that being said, though, we have one more race left to go, and that race at this point is effectively an exhibition race.
Yeah, that's going to be an exciting race in 2 weeks' time, but we are going to focus on finishing this race at the Chicagoland Speedway. Ray Alfalla, your winner. We are going to step away for just a few moments' time. We'll bring you back to the post-race show where we'll talk to your top 5, and we'll see if we can't get a hold of the champion-to-be, Kenny Humpy, in at the number 58. Don't go away, race fans. Post-race coming up for round 15 of the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series.
Sorry, guys. I never would have thought making duck calls would have stirred up this much excitement.
No kidding. You got him coming up here.
Shortcut time!
That's what I'm talking about. You sure this is a good idea?
Oh, yeah. I got this. I can't guarantee you how this will end, but Pete can guarantee your radiator for life. Introducing the Peak Run True Guarantee. Check it out at peakguarantee.com.
Welcome back to the Chicagoland Speedway in round number 15 of the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series, powered by iRacing and going to victory lane. Second place in points, car number 2 of Ray Alfala, the Wendell Scott Foundation Ford, and Joe down there in victory lane with a pretty dominant car and driver combination tonight.
So for the third time in 4 years, you can call Ray Alfala Mr. September, because again, the third time in 4 seasons, he wins the second to last race going into Homestead Miami Speedway. And Ray, you won, last time you won this one, you won a championship. This time, may not happen, but still a good run for you and the 2 team.
Yeah, great run. Really, really happy to get the Wendell Scott Foundation up front in victory lane again. Congrats to Kenny. I believe he clinched it tonight, so good job to him. I mean, great season. It feels great as a team on Slip Angle and Last Row to end the season on a very high note. Though we're firing on all 8 cylinders, I guess you could call it. So really happy to run as well as we have here late in the season.
The second race on this new dynamic track. Are you more comfortable with the dynamic track and how it's changing underneath the car, or is there still a little bit of a learning curve left to go?
Yeah, I'm going to be biased, but this is the most fun I've had on here in at least, 3, 4, maybe 5 years. You can really feel that you can make a difference as a driver. Even during testing, sometimes I'll get the same setup and I'll drive it 2 different ways, and I'll run just different lap times based on how I drive and how I use the tires. So you really have to be on your game regarding how much you're sliding, how much that slip angle is on the right rear tire. But we have a good hold on the setup. Joey Brown helps a ton, and like I said, it feels great. Brian Blackford got third. I was rooting him on there, looking at the standings to see if he could get second, but I heard it was a great battle for second behind us, and I don't know, man. It's just even though it's not a championship, it's still really difficult to win one of these. As you saw last week, we dominated and still came home second, so it feels really good to win.
Ray, going into tonight's race, you were 43 points ahead of PJ Sturgis for position number 2. We go into a track that has not been your friend in recent history. Have you given any thought to how you're going to approach this race with second potentially on the line?
I think second's already clinched. I think the first 2 are clinched. So for both Kenny and I, it's going to be no pressure going in there. But for PJ and those guys, there's a really hot battle, I think, for 4th, even 3rd. So we're all gonna, we're gonna give it 100% effort. Just because a position is clinched doesn't mean you stop trying. And before I go, it is a Pediatric Cancer Awareness Month, and I want to give a shout out to Trey Davis's family, Wendell Scott's great grandson. Go to GoFundMe.com/Treyday, TREYDAY, and donate anything you can to help his family and Trey going through cancer, and it's a really hard time for them. So I wanted to get that out there. And overall, just thanks a lot to everybody on Slip Angle. Thanks a lot to everybody on Last Row. Lisa Pineda for all her support as the team owner, and Wendell Scott Foundation, really happy to have them on board and looking to finish the season strong in 2 weeks in Homestead.
Last question, Ray. With no pressure on you at Homestead Miami, is this year you shake off the curse?
Oh, there's no curse. There's no curse. You'd rather win the championship in a year, but I'd rather finish second than any other spot if I'm not going to win the championship. So it's there's no curse at all. I'm blessed.
Ray Alfala, feeling blessed at winning the second to last race for the 3rd time in 4 seasons here at Chicagoland Speedway. Let's go to Tony Stevens, who's caught up with Taylor Hurst, our second place finisher.
With Taylor Hurst, driver of the number 74. And Taylor, man, what a battle you and Brian Blackford had over the last couple of laps. First off, take us through that. Would that have even been possible without the new adjustments to the iRacing software and some of the new features they added? Because that looked like something we've never seen before, and it looked like it was really fun.
Yeah, man, I had a blast there at the end with Brian. I stuck it on the outside of him when he got under me, and I came off the corner, and I got one run that I just didn't even expect, so I stuck it back under him and got around him and held him off.
Obviously, you had a solid run. This is probably your best run of the season so far here in the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series. What does this do for you now going into essentially the off season? Yes, we still have one race to go, but There's the Pro Series coming up. There's next season the Peak Antifreeze Series. What kind of confidence booster is this for you?
Oh man, it helps a ton. We've had cars to win just about every week the past 6 races or so, and we just couldn't get it done on strategy or getting screwed from something, and man, it feels good.
I bet it certainly does. Now, of course, this does move you much closer to the top 10 in points. You're coming in tonight tied for the 11th spot with Landon Harrison, just about 14 markers off of Michael Conti, who you did gain a couple of points on him, although he was in the top 10. Is that really a goal that you've got in mind now going into Homestead in a couple of weeks' time to try to crack that top 10?
It could be. My goal for the season was just to finish top 20 and keep my license so I can run next year. But yeah, top 10 is definitely something I'm looking at now.
Congratulations on the run tonight, and almost cracking the top 10. Still have one race to go. Does Taylor Hurst? I believe Tim Terry has caught up with our third place finisher. Tim?
And it's a finisher that battled with Taylor Hurst for that second place position coming down to the end, Brian Blackford. Let's talk about those crossovers here, because that looked fun to watch from up here.
It was fun to drive. The Wendell Scott Ford Fusion was really awesome on that long run. I burned the right rear up just a little bit too much, but just got to thank all my sponsors, the Wendell Scott Foundation, obviously, Ford Performance, No Cone Productions, STEMS MX, the Phoenix Society for Burn Survivors, Slip Angle and LRM put together a great setup again. That was fun to drive for sure, and we made all the right adjustments. Was a little too tight at the beginning of the race, so we just made a simple change, and it came to life there at the end. I just made sure to save my tires a little bit, and it really paid off there. So congrats to Ray on the win. That was awesome. Really happy with how the race played out, and couldn't be happier right now.
We've seen it the last 2 weeks. This dynamic track, this brand new build, this is really fun to drive.
Oh, without question, yeah. This is probably my favorite physics model in sim racing, and I've been sim racing probably for close to 11 or 12 years now. So it's been a while. So this is about as fun as it gets, and I really enjoy this style of racing. You know, Lisa Pineda and Ray Alfala, Stephanie Lessentine, and Brandon Wright. We've all worked really well together, you know, on Slip Angle, and we're really gelling as a team now. And I just feel like I wish the season didn't end. Brandon's, you know, doing great job on the spotter stand, and Joey Brown, obviously, and PJ have put in a lot of effort into the setups, and it's really paying off in this new build. So just really happy with how things are going.
You talked about coming down to the end of the season. You're sandwiched right now in between two LRM teammates, and I know you guys have that technical alliance there. PJ Sturgis just ahead of you, but Chris Overland only 1 point now behind you as you sit in position number 4. What's the strategy going into Homestead thinking about those points?
Yeah, the strategy really is just not to think about it. That's what I did for the most of the event tonight. I saw Overland was up there most of the race, and I just tried not to panic and just keep working my way towards the front, and you know, just don't overdrive the car. You know, it's easy to get impatient with your car and overdrive just a little bit and lose a bunch. So just, you know, drive within your means, and I'm pretty sure we'll have a great race. And regardless of the outcome, this has been an incredible season for Slip Angle and Lastro. I'm super excited for PJ and Ray, Chris, and all the guys really have done phenomenal this season. We've got a couple guys who haven't had the greatest of circumstances throughout given races. You know, Timu and Benjamin, but and Sasha Wessler, shout out to him. Hope he feels better soon. He might be having some surgery. So just got to thank iRacing, NASCAR, all you guys at PSR TV, and Brian with Peak Antifreeze and Motor Oil. Those guys are awesome. So thank you guys so much, and really looking forward to Homestead.
And that's Brian Blackford coming home with position number 3 here this evening. Fantastic battle with Taylor Hirsch coming down to the checkered flag at the Chicagoland Speedway. I believe Joe Cortez has caught up with Mike Conti.
Mike Conti finishing fourth tonight on the field. And Mike, let me just say this. It's been kind of a tough season for you. How redeeming is it to, after this tough season, come back and have a good run here at Chicagoland with the season winding down?
It's really good to finally be running up front again. Like you said, we've struggled quite a bit this year, and we've tried a bunch of different things and haven't been able to hit on it. But the last 2 weeks, I don't know if it's the throwback car or the new surface model or a new build or whatever, or a combination of all three, but been really good. Darlington was going to be really good, but I didn't get a retire in a pit stop, so that kind of put a hamper on that. But tonight we were good. I didn't get home until 8:40 or so I couldn't qualify, so I had to start in the back, but made our way up to the top 15 the first run and kind of ran around there and caught some breaks at the end and improved on the car all night. Brian Schoenberg, Jason Loafing, Joseph Gulata, all those guys really helped the car a lot tonight. The adjustments, and we came home fourth. So fun race with Chris and everybody at the end, and just glad to get Peak and everybody that supports us up front.
Second race so far this season on this new dynamic track model. What have you learned, and how are you feeling about this new track model that iRacing has introduced across the sim?
It's really cool. For a first pass at it, it's working extremely well. As far as our team goes, I think we're really good when the track first starts. Definitely better in the first runs of the race, and we're making positive adjustments as the race goes on, but it seems like other guys have a little bit more figured out than we do at this point and can kind of get their cars a little better in hours the second half of the race. But being able to see the rubber building up is really cool. I changed my line a little bit in 1 and 2 and was making good time that first long run. So definitely add some dynamics to it, as it should, and it makes the racing not static anymore. I'd like to see the top work a little bit better, but it worked pretty good tonight on restarts. We was able to make some time, and I know next week at Homestead it'll be pretty cool too. See how the top comes in as the race goes on. But again, just want to thank everybody that makes this happen. They've been through thick and thin this year after a really good year last year at the championship. Almost not making the top 20 this year, it seemed like, for quite a while. Peak jumped on board, Blue Def, Main Performance PC, the RCRL, JDR Graphics, and everybody else that makes it happen. Just want to thank all those guys for sticking with us, sticking with the 5 teams, sticking with the drill aisle, and good to get it back up front. And Joe, we'll see you next week at Homestead. Hopefully we can finish 3 spots better.
Certainly would be the goal. That is Michael Conti, who will finish 4th tonight. Let's go to Tony Stevens, who's caught up with Chris Overland in 5th.
Seems like it's very few and far between we see the double clutch car make its way into the top 5. And Chris, tonight you were able to hang on for a solid top 5 run. What does this do for your bunch heading into Homestead, the finale, into the off season? It really has to give your organization a shot in the arm.
Well, we didn't finish quite where we needed to tonight. We let Blackford get a couple points on us, so we dropped to 5th. But other than that, 2 top 5s in a row, having 2 shots to win a race. I'm extremely happy. I've never been this good on iRacing, and this new dynamic track surface model has made me look like I'm incredible. I don't want to toot my own horn, but anyway, the guys at Last Row Motorsports and Slip Angle definitely did a lot of work this week, because we knew that Kenny didn't quite have it clinched for Ray, and almost everything went right for Ray tonight, but just not enough. Congrats to Kenny on the championship. Congrats to Ray on the win. We're definitely a force to be reckoned with. We just got going a little bit too late.
Sometimes it's better late than never. And you said this new dynamic track model really has made you look good, but you know what? Drivers sometimes are made to look good by the people behind them. I know you have a lot of people that make things happen, that turn the virtual wrenches and make those decisions for you as the race goes on. And they've brought you your 5th top 5 of 2015, so certainly heading in the right direction. But you mentioned the race with Brian Blackford for the points. You were 1 point behind him coming into tonight. You lost a couple, but still very manageable going into Homestead. How do you manage that? Because you've got Corey Vincent, who was right behind you coming into tonight as well. Blackford immediately in front of you. Do you worry about one more than the other, or do you simply go to Homestead, put the best car underneath of you possibly can, and try to win the race?
Well, me and Brian Blackford have always been good friends since I got on iRacing, and second to that, we're competitors. So when it comes down to it, if Blackford and I are racing, I'm gonna race him as hard as I'd race anybody for points, and I know he'd respect that. So we're gonna do all we can here. Corey Vincent is a little bit too far behind to have my attention, but anything can happen. I'm just gonna try to minimize mistakes, and if we're there at the end to battle with Blackford, we're gonna do it. But right now it's looking pretty good as a top 5 in points, and I'm really happy about that because I get to finish in the money and get to travel down to Homestead, see the ceremony.
I was going to say, at least it puts you in the money and where all the prizes are. Well, either way, congratulations. We look forward to seeing how the season turns out for you. If you can hold on to 5th, then maybe it'll be a big, huge party in Homestead. You never know, but nonetheless, we'll see you in a couple weeks.
Thank you. Just want to quickly say thanks to Joey Brown, being the crew chief and spotter tonight. Joey's made our setups, or participated in making our setups all year long, and I couldn't be up here in the top 5 without him. And big thanks to Double Clutch and Menards and everybody who backs the 47 team.
That's Chris Overland, finishes in the spot here tonight, also currently 5th in NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series points. Speaking of points, Tim Terry, are they done crunching all the numbers, the abacuses, the pens and papers, the carries and 1s and 2s and whatever they're doing? Is it all completed yet? Do we have an official word with the guy you're standing next to?
And ironically, it is a 58-point advantage heading in to the final race of the season. The most points you can gain, 48. Kenny Humpy, you are unofficially the 2015 NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series Championship winner. It didn't look pretty tonight, though. What happened there coming off of corner number 2?
Yeah, we had a pretty good car tonight and rated as well. And congrats to him on the win. It was an awesome race. And I have to say sorry to Alan Bowes and Justin Bolton, my teammate, that I got, piled in there with. But, yeah, coming off of turn 2, the screen, I don't know if it's my graphics or what was going on there. It just kind of froze up, and I just straightened the wheel out to kind of, try to ride through it there, and it just went straight into the wall, and then those guys had no chance. So, a huge apology to those guys, but thankfully we were able to wrap this thing up for Peak, and best overhead doors and vinyl siding, and everybody on the team that's been, here the entire year, just helping me out, and we're all helping each other out and having a blast doing this stuff. So it's great to bring home a championship to those guys, and I'm pretty excited about it.
And it's been a couple of years since we wrapped up the championship before heading in to the season finale. How big is it of a weight off your shoulder going into Homestead, knowing that you do not have to finish in a certain position in order to win the championship? You can go in with that weight off your back.
Oh, it's huge. It's definitely huge. But I don't know where I was. My mom just came in yelling. She's pretty excited. But no, everybody on the team there's, worked so hard this year to get us up front, and we've been able to do it every, pretty much every race. And I thought we had a pretty good car tonight as well that was going to contend for a win. But some unfortunate circumstances, and looks like I may need to cash that check and maybe try to buy a new PC so that we don't have that problem anymore. But no, it's been an awesome year, and I can't thank all the guys on enough. And my spotter, Carl Taylor, and Jared Crawford helping on setups. He does a hell of a job, and just everybody on the team, man. And from top to bottom, we've had fun all year. It's been unreal, and to clinch it before the last race and not have that pressure is pretty big.
Now, how much fun are we going to have in 2 weeks at the Homestead Miami Speedway? Weight lifted off your shoulder. Have you guys done any testing there? Because I know there are some members of your team that are locked into some tight points battles going in to the final race. Has there been any preparation already for that race? And how much preparation are you going to do over these next 2 weeks?
Oh, we'll definitely put in the time. We got to get Bolton. I think he's got a shot at the top 5 there, so he has them points he can make up. I don't know where Kevin's sitting after tonight, but he was in the top 10 there coming in, and we'll definitely put the time in. I'm not going to back out on these guys. They've done a lot for me over the year, and we definitely won't give up on them, trying to get them the best spot possible. And with the new surface model and everything that comes in at Homestead, it'll definitely be a lot different race because you already have the progressive banking there, so it should be a fun race. Glad I won't have the pressure. It'll be a whole different kind of, atmosphere going in, not having the pressure, trying to hold off a guy like Ray Alfal and all them, those guys at LRM, they were real fast, like I said, tonight, and, just feels good to have no pressure on going into that race. But we'll definitely work on that setup.
Congratulations again, Kenny, and we'll see you in 2 weeks' time at the Homestead Miami Speedway.
All right, I thank you guys, and as well as iRacing and everybody involved here at PSR TV. You guys do a hell of a job as well, and keep on keeping on, and we'll go to Homestead and try to win it.
That's Kenny Humpy, your 2015 NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series powered by iRacing champion. Joe Cortez, final thoughts before we send this thing out of here. What a show tonight. Great race overall. Not as many cautions in this race, especially in the first half. A lot of green flag racing there. And then at the end of the night, Ray Alfala comes home with a pretty dominating win, and Kenny Humpy clinches the title.
Tonight you saw what really was the paramount to the racing here in the 2015 NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series. What you saw here tonight were a lot of competitors and a lot of drivers going out of their way to put on an incredible show, even though, really, at the heart of it, nothing was on the line. Everything panned out the way we expected it to by the end of this race, but nonetheless, 40 drivers came to this track looking to be competitive and have fun and really put on an incredible show to put this season to an end. Now, once again, we still have one more race left to go. But at this point, as many of these drivers already said, it's an exhibition race. It's a race where they can kind of let off the steam, let off the gas a little bit, and just go out and have fun and put out what's been the most competitive season to an end. Tim, I couldn't ask for a better finish for what's going to be my final season with this broadcast team. And, this race of the season has just been one surprise after another. And I've got to say, I think that with my participation in this esport, and you and I both, Tim, participating in this esport for over a decade, the next decade is going to bring a lot more excitement to come.
A lot more excitement to come, and Tony Stevens, this was a pretty exciting race as well. I know you only got to see the last 40 laps or so, but what you saw was pretty intense.
It really was, Tim, and it really makes me hopeful for the future of iRacing. It's always been on the cutting edge of technology. It's always been the closest thing to actually climbing into a real race car, no matter what the case might be, whether that's all the way back when Dave Cameron and company came up with the first Indianapolis 500 simulation, all the way to the current incarnation that is iRacing. It's always been on the forefront, and this new dynamic track model, the dynamic tire model, basically, that's also incorporated into that, and all the little details, it's as real as it gets, and the racing reflects that. No longer is it put the setup in, run 167 laps, and if you're the best, you win. No, it's get it close and keep adjusting, keep going, keep trying to adapt to conditions. It's no different than Denny Hamlin this past Sunday at Chicagoland himself. Got thrown a curveball, adapted to conditions, and guess what? He was the one that adapted the best and ended up in victory lane. That now has reached this esport, as Joe is calling it, and that makes it that much more incredible to watch on the racetrack. The product is phenomenal. The competition is amazing. Nowhere on earth, I don't think, you will find racing like this as far as the tightness of the competition, and certainly gives some sort of testimony to what iRacing has created with the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series powered by iRacing, and with so few people having things to really worry about in 2 weeks' time at Homestead. Yes, some will worry about points, and some will worry about making the top 20 or whatever the case might be, but I think the vast majority of the field is going to actually be able to go out, just have fun, and try some things at Homestead. And we've already seen what this dynamic surface model will do at Chicago. We saw high, low, middle, everything on a track that the best season finale in the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series so far to date, going back 5-6 years. This one's going to be one that's incredible.
And we've got battles for top 10 positions. We've got battles for the top 20 to try to lock themselves in to the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series for 2016. But we have a champion already crowned. Congratulations to Kenny Humpy, and congratulations to Ray Alfala on a pretty dominant win here this evening at the Chicagoland Speedway. 2 weeks' time, we will see it all come to a close for the 2015 season at the Homestead Miami Speedway. That's going to do it for us here this evening. So for Joe Cortez, Tony Stevens, and the entire PSR TV crew, my name is Tim Terry. We'll see you at the Homestead Miami Speedway when we say, let's go racing, keep the hammer down, and we'll see you at the track.
Sorry, guys. I never would have thought making duck calls would have stirred up this much excitement.
No kidding. You got him coming up here.
Shortcut time!
That's what I'm talking about. You sure this is a good idea?
Oh, yeah. I got this. I can't guarantee how this will end, but Pete can guarantee your radiator for life. Introducing the Peak Run True Guarantee. Check it out at peakguarantee.com.